For years, the three of us have said this, but today, more than ever, hashtag
Give it
to Dave.
Every choice made has led to this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Ahsoka-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Ahsoka Season 1, Episode 4, Fallen Jedi.
Oh. I was going for the air horns.
You gotta turn that down a little bit.
That was intense. It was very intense, Drew.
That's like because I pulled it from your computer, Jeremiah, and for some reason it's loud as heck. All the other ones, actually, no, I think it's pretty loud too. They're all loud.
Well,
that one needs to be loud.
If
that
it's loud, it's because I got it from Andrew. So if you got the Super Get Out from Andrew, they're both from Andrew technically.
Yeah, you can just lower the volume.
My glasses being annoying right now, you guys.
Oh, goodness.
Well, good thing you don't need your glasses because
I don't.
You don't need to read anything other than the chat, I guess. But
which is important.
Anyway, we're already rambling. This always happens every week that someone else is here.
Hey, by the way, that ramble was not my fault.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't matter. That's what we do here. We ramble. We're ramblers.
Not tonight.
We're not
tonight. We're trying
like Lucy's podcast. Okay, we don't read
because last night in the Discord, people were talking about how this is gonna be like a 6-hour podcast,
and it should be because it was that good.
As much as I want it to be like that,
no, Drew, we can't. We know, Drew.
It would take forever to upload and export or whatever. Like I just don't want to.
It's like literally just video production.
Yes,
but it's all good. I'll do my best.
But yes, Ahsoka is back this week, and it was a doozy.
Yep,
a doozy.
So you might as well just jump into it. But
yep,
who wants to go first? What were your overall thoughts?
Jeremiah, you go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah,
that way I don't ramble.
Let's go.
Oh, already taking hot shots at me. I thought this was one of the best things we've ever had in Star Wars. I think that this is for sure the best single live-action TV show episode that we've gotten of all the shows. So that's 3 seasons of Mando, Andor, Book of Boba, but that wasn't that hard to outdo. There's 2 good episodes in that whole season. But, was there another live action show? I can't remember.
No.
But I thought this from start to finish was great. I thought the pacing was great. I thought all of the big moments were great. And I couldn't think of anything better that this episode could do. Like, it's everything I could ever want in a live action Star Wars thing. It was fresh, it was mysterious, it was exciting, it was emotional, it was funny at times, and I thought it was great.
Sick.
And if this is just like the halfway through the season, and next week is supposed to be a big deal because Dave Filoni's directing that one also.
Yeah, they're also playing it in theaters.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like some movie theaters are gonna be.
Yeah, there's one. The movie theater that Micaiah and I normally go to is playing it next week at 5 p.m. No, I can't get off work. I work until 5. There's just, long story short, there's no way for me to get off.
It would have been a way if they would have. Never mind. I'm
not
gonna get into that.
Yeah,
but if it's in the evening,
it's
no. It starts at 5, and I get off at 5.
Just take your laptop.
So they're starting at earlier than normal.
Yeah. I looked at the tickets today because I saw it. I was like, oh, I bet they're doing one in LA. And I was like, oh, that's my movie theater. And then I was like,
how did I
get the pass.
About this at all? Is it
So,
in Minnesota?
Join the Discord. Drew or Will posted in the Discord.
Yeah, the chat says they sold out fast. Like, I would have had to have jumped on it and then submitted the time off request, and there's no guarantee it would have actually been accepted. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just watch it on my TV. It'll be fine.
Could have scalped that ticket, dude. You could have
But
made
I'm going
tens of dollars.
Do you want me to ramble about scalpers? Because I hate them. The whole ticketing system. We're not talking about.
You're
it.
opening
Anyways.
the door.
But yeah, they updated the poster to include a certain someone.
Oh, it's wrong.
I don't know if it's too early to.
Annie?
Nope.
No, this is. We do not.
No, it's not. It's not time yet.
Oh, you're talking about.
We have to wait until the very end of the episode to mention this.
Is it
person.
even showing in Minnesota, Jeremiah?
I have no idea.
They're all over the
select theaters. So a no-name state like Minnesota is probably not going to have.
If it is, it's probably going to be an AMC.
I'm looking and I don't see.
AMC is the worst.
I like it. I mean, I don't really care. I
Marcus
go to
is the
one
best.
movie a year
Yeah,
now.
you're right.
So
Marcus is where it's at. But anyway, those were my overall thoughts. 10 minutes later. Who wants to go next? Overall thoughts of the episode.
Drew, you want to go?
No, he doesn't look like.
Okay,
ready.
cool. I'll go. This was definitely the best episode of this show for me so far. Definitely like a 9.5. I'm not giving it a 10 yet because I haven't seen Thrawn yet, but it was a 9.5 for me. Yeah, I have no complaints. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the fighting. This was the best fighting that we've seen yet. Really, really, really enjoyed Ahsoka versus Baylan. I love Baylan. I love Baylan enough. This might be a hot take. I love Baylan enough that so far, within the first 4 episodes, he is my favorite character.
He is pretty cool.
Take.
The end of last episode when he's just standing there and the wind's blowing.
I am so because like I'm not familiar with him as an actor. Very familiar with him outside of like what I saw in Thor, and the more I see him in this, the sadder I am.
Yeah.
About what happened, because like there were at least 2 or 3 times last night watching this episode with my wife that we both were like, "Yo, his voice, yo, his acting." Like it's I don't know. I don't know what it is, but for me, Baylan is killing it. Like I'm so invested in his character and in his motivations because it's like
I hope they kill him off.
So not clear cut. But yeah, I loved it. I have to admit this episode, it was a little.
Oh, here we go.
It wasn't ruined, but my perception of it going in was definitely not as fresh as it could have been because of Jeremiah. Because Jeremiah watches the episode, and then I get a Discord notification that, and I quote, it. Hold on, let me find it real quick.
Are you gonna count the explanation?
I'm not gonna count them, but I definitely want to quote it. And I quote in all caps, with 6 H's and about 47.5 exclamation points. This is before I watched it. And so I'm like, okay, well, this narrows down what's. Yeah, I was like, okay, well, something's gonna happen, obviously, because Jeremiah normally doesn't react to that if it was like a mid-episode, and he normally doesn't redirect people like I try to do. And so I was like, okay, well, as the episode is going, I'm literally like out loud going, I think this is gonna happen. And then when that doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, I'm like, okay, well, it's gonna be this. I'm like, something big. And then they were getting the hyperdrive ring together, and I looked at McKay and I was like, oh, so this is gonna be the episode where at the end they're gonna get to the galaxy, and at the end Thrawn's gonna be walking out in slow motion like in the trailer, and then it's gonna cut, and we're not gonna see him until next week.
We're not gonna even
very surprised, very very surprised. But I had the expectation that something was coming, and then I will tell you this: the moment I knew most of what was going to happen was the shot from overhead where it's panning over the ocean, and I literally looked at Micaiah and I go, "She's in the world between worlds." Like I called it like 30 seconds before, and then you see her head, and I was like, "Okay, she's definitely in the world between worlds." I didn't know who she was gonna see, but like, so it was good. It was great. Huh?
Is she in the world between worlds, or is she where the Jedi go when they die?
What?
That's literally the world between
not
worlds.
Dead.
Do you not remember what the world between worlds looks like?
It looks different in live action.
No, there's more stars. It's the same thing. Dude.
Okay, but you gotta understand that looking at when all the times that Ezra has like a spiritual moment, he's in this black void, and each time it gets more and more detailed.
Yeah.
And
now
so
it's very detailed.
And so when we see it last in the episode "The World Between Worlds" with Ahsoka in there, it's just straight like black lines and stars. But here, there's color, there's galaxies, there's other things out there. So it's kind of like maybe the more mature you are in the Force, the more sensitive you are to perceiving the environment.
I also think it's a practical thing to help provide a little bit of separation for the characters in the background. Going straight black like it is in Rebels, I feel like could potentially cause some hurdles to be jumped over, especially if they're going to be spending a lot of time there next episode like I think they are. I think it's going to be easier for everyone if there's more detail.
Well,
but anyways,
if they're going to show this in theaters next week, it's probably a long episode.
Not necessarily.
I mean, this was probably the second shortest.
I don't know.
So, because I think last week's was like 30. Actually, I think.
But last week was 37. This week was 40 with intro and credits.
Yeah, it actually came out to around like 37. Actual 37.
Right. But
so yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's the single best live action episode for me because of how much I deeply loved Andor. One of my favorite all-time Star Wars moments ever in live action was of course now I'm freaking blanking on his name. The monologue. Nope, the monologue.
The manifesto one or Marva's one?
Not Marva. No, not Marva. I mean, What's
wrong with Marva?
Marva's
speech
Marva,
at the end.
Marva.
Look
Marva's
of disgust on your face, like
no. But Marva's was fine. But I'm talking about
Nemec.
No, why can I not remember his name?
Andor.
Not Andor.
Luthen. Underground.
There we go. Okay, Luthen's Luthen. His monologue is it. It still gives me chills, y'all. But this isn't about Andor. This is definitely a 9.5. Best episode of the show. Best fighting for sure. I agree with you, Jeremiah. The best paced one. Very interesting twist at the end. Wasn't expecting it. Not surprised by it, especially seeing as she tweeted the tweet that she made and that got very quickly deleted earlier this year. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson tweeted like, welcome back, Master Skywalker or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then like immediately got taken down. But so many people saw it.
This show.
Yeah. It's also funny because she says Master Skywalker, and then there was one of the pre Ahsoka show things where she was like, explain Ahsoka in a minute and a half or something. It was a really good little short that she did. And she was like, Ahsoka was trained by Jedi Master Anakin Skywalker. And I was like, no. He was never granted the rank of Master, man.
Facts.
And then I felt like a nerd. So, anyways, so yeah, 9.5 out of 10. Go, Drew.
And apparently there's no showings in Minnesota, so I don't feel that bad.
That's okay.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I mean, you can watch my reaction right now on YouTube, and I immediately cried. It was so good.
Guess so did Tanner.
It was amazing.
I was texting him the whole time. I was like, dude, it's crazy when Hu Yang got in contact with Jar Jar. I was like, he looks so good in this show, like the CGI. And dude, he was like, dude, if you don't shut up.
So dumb. Dude, but like, honestly though, like, I want to say it's my favorite episode, Jeremiah.
You want to say, so
but
you're unsure?
I'm unsure because I can't swim now. That episode was so gut-wrenching for me. in Andor.
From Andor.
Oh yeah, dude.
That episode was
Andor for me is
intense.
still.
So, but I do think this is leaning more towards my favorite episode, especially the conflict of like Sabine, like straight up not listening to Ahsoka at all. And
I will, when we get to that, I'm gonna contest your interpretation of that.
well,
So
neither of them listened to Hugh Yang. Let's say that because they weren't together at all.
I also, Drew, you finish, and then I have something that I need to get off my chest after you finish.
But I enjoyed it, and clearly she's in the world between worlds. And I was
clearly
just pulling you guys around, but you guys fell.
I don't think you were.
No, I was. I only said that because certain YouTuber Star Wars guy was saying that's what that was, where Jedi's go to die. But that's a different.
It could be.
It might be.
I mean,
could be both. The world between worlds is
where they go to die,
where the Force goes.
You know, have you guys seen the YouTube videos of the deep fakes of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and they're like reacting to Star Wars?
Yeah.
No.
You sent me a thing. I watched like the first 2 minutes, and
it's literally my favorite thing right now. They're so. Anyways, you mentioned Force Ghosts and Qui-Gon's there as a Force. It's so funny. But go ahead.
But yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good, and yeah, little Annie's back.
Spoilers.
Yep.
But
they get de-aged that sucker.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it didn't look. I was thinking about that.
We'll get to that, but
I was thinking about that post the episode ending, and I was like, I'm glad that they de-aged him, because if he was like current Hayden Christensen, it would have taken me out a little bit.
Kind of like in Kenobi.
Yes, but here, every time I'm on the show, we have to mourn what could have been. You stop it.
Your rant. Here
no,
it goes again.
I am saying this should have been 7, 8, and 9. You don't need Luke. You don't need the legacy characters. If you want something to bring all the fans back. Give like this show.
Fans back, bro.
Okay, but think about this. Listen. Think about Ahsoka season 1 as a movie. Now, granted, it would be, they would have to cut out a lot, but like, but think about it. Think about it. Listen.
I agree, but
it's directly after. It's really close after Return of the Jedi. They don't have to worry. They don't have to rely on the legacy actors and actresses to carry the franchise anymore. This is a new Star Wars, technically, centered around fan favorite characters, and Thrawn poses like, just let Palpatine be dead.
That's why I still believe
Thrawn poses way more of a threat than Snoke and freaking.
This is why I still believe Dave Filoni has one story to tell in a movie, and it's going to take 3 parts to tell it.
I don't think it's going to take 3 parts. I think the first 2 parts are going to be over the shows, and then the movie is going to be. But all I'm saying is, like, think about a more perfect post Return of the Jedi than this.
Okay, I don't disagree that it's a great story, but you have to, if you're going to continue the first 6 movies, it has to be connected to the first 6 movies, and that is the Skywalker lineage.
Since when? It's like
what?
It's the Skywalker.
But
okay, it wasn't the Skywalker saga until like they started.
Let's see. The first 3 movies were about Skywalker.
No. But it wasn't.
Next 3 movies were about
wasn't
Skywalker.
created.
But also,
that rule wasn't really a thing.
Okay, but the rule doesn't matter when the content is that either way.
But Anakin.
You can label it however you want, but it's still 6 movies about Anakin Skywalker.
It's still the Skywalker saga. Ahsoka is literally Anakin's Padawan.
But like, she's not a Skywalker.
Well, neither
is freaking Rey.
I don't disagree with you, but they have the legacy characters in it from the original trilogy.
This show is more of the Skywalker saga than the movies we got were.
Well, and also
it doesn't matter if Luke is in there.
Neither are.
Oh, I disagree with that. But instead of Mon Mothma, they could just throw Leia in there. That would have. And Anakin's in it, so technically it is a Skywalker saga. He's literally in the show. and they can add him more. I'm not disagreeing with either of you though. I think we needed to watch something that bad and to appreciate this good stuff.
But if we had gotten this first,
then we wouldn't even.
Anyways, all I'm saying,
you would be so angry if they didn't have Luke, Leia, and Han in the first movie. If they did like a story like this, you would have been so upset. I guarantee you.
No. If it had been this, no,
because the thing
I would have been like, where are they?
No,
but
the thing is, Andrew, you would want the original Thrawn trilogy with Luke.
Yeah, and then you'd be upset because they didn't have.
You would.
They didn't do an adaptation of the Thrawn trilogy.
It was a different one.
I still would have been fine with this, more so than the freaking Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Your heightened love for the story is tainted by your hate of the sequels.
No, it's not.
But it is.
How many books with Thrawn in it that is completely wrong? Like, I promise you. Like, I just read Outbound Flight. Thrawn isn't technically even a main character in that, and it's still a better story. And all of the novels that I've read,
we know where the mess up is, but Jeremiah doesn't like when I point fingers to certain people in the show, so we're not going to say anything.
So all I'm saying is this would have been way better as the continuation of the Skywalker saga.
3 movies. Because my thing is, they want to do a Dave Filoni movie. We're not getting 3 movies. And this is why I think they want to do a Dave Filoni movie. But a lot of people aren't watching these shows. So what is going to make them go to the movie?
And I freaking wonder why. Maybe if they had started with this.
Andrew's on fire.
The people who don't watch it are people who casually watch the Star Wars movies. Like, they don't care enough to watch the shows. That's why.
They need people in the seats, though. If they're going to push a movie to be in theaters, they have to sell tickets, which is why I think they're going to do a story that's going to tie into the Filoni verse, but at the same time be its own story, which is why I think.
But they've literally said it ends the Mandoverse story.
The Mandoverse,
yeah, it does.
So then that means you have to watch the shows in order to enjoy the movie.
Not necessarily.
But that's literally what they said. It's the end of the story. It's like watching Deathly Hallows Part 2 and not watching all the previous 7 movies in Harry Potter. Like, you're not going to get what's going on if you do it like that.
Yes, but my thing is not everyone is watching all of them. So in order to get...
That's why they're not going to do a trilogy.
This is why I think they are. Because they're going to kind of go back and forth and kind of show us more.
All right. Whatever. We've already gone off the rails and are talking about nothing that has anything to do with Ahsoka. So let's get back on track.
I think it does have stuff to do with Ahsoka.
No,
let's get back on track, Drew.
Let's get back on track. So we each gave our own opening thoughts. So might as well just jump scene by scene into this. And so
let's do it.
Obviously, classic Star Wars, they have to fix a broken ship.
Yep.
Like, you can't have a ship that just lands nicely and has no problems. Something's always wrong with the ship. So Sabine is fixing the ship with Hu Yang, which I thought was interesting watching Hu Yang do repairs on a ship.
He's a smart guy.
I feel like most droids are very, like, they have one purpose.
Not a Jedi droid. He's also really technical, though. He's like the lightsaber guy, so I'm sure he's predisposed to technical skills.
I don't know. I just think it's odd. It was odd seeing him do that. I'm like, what is fixing it?
Well, I mean, if you view it though through the fact that him and Ahsoka clearly have been together for a while.
Yeah.
He's probably not the first time.
He looks great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, but like some of the stuff in the sequel movies practically didn't look as good as Hu Yang does. Like, for him to be such a central character, like they did a really good job of balancing like the CG and the animatronics and stuff
too.
Sorry, are you saying that you think he's practical?
Yeah,
he is practical.
It's both. It's definitely both. It's definitely both because like the fight scene is not practical at all. Like, there's no way that's practical.
I would,
but
that'd be cool.
But obviously a lot of the shots where he's more mobile, he's not practical. But like, there's definitely a shot in this opening scene. Like, I'm watching it right now.
When he was actually fixing the thing when he was laying
Yeah.
down, that was practical.
100% he's practical.
Oh, I didn't even.
That would be hard to like, because he looks stiff when he's on the ground.
Yeah, there's a stiffness that is very much because of the limitations of like what robotics can do.
Yeah.
You can tell. And then there are certain scenes where you're like, oh, he's moving a lot. That's not robotics. There's no way.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I guess I didn't even cross my mind that he was practical just because I didn't notice it as practical.
well, that's good. I noticed it was practical because of how good he looks.
Well, so I'm just so used to CGI looking pretty spot on realistic that I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
Think. But
Chopper is both too, right?
Chopper is both. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was practical when Hera was chasing after that part, but that was the only time he was practical. joking, because
I was gonna say that was like the one time he wasn't practical.
Yeah. So you're fixing your ship, and like Sabine's like, "Where's Ahsoka?" I'm like, either she's on the ship or she's outside. Like,
just being emo.
It's not that difficult to figure out where she is, but whatever.
Well,
so they go out.
Or maybe Sabine was asking because maybe she left to go get the people. You know what I mean?
I don't know, but I'm saying like she could just walk out of the cockpit. Oh, Ahsoka's not here. That means she's probably outside. Like,
we're taking a nap.
You didn't need help, but I don't know. She's not force sensitive or whatever, so she sucks with the force, so she can't sense a
may or may not have pushed someone in.
She didn't. But she goes outside, talks with Ahsoka, and
it's a really beautiful set. This forest area.
Yeah, I really like.
It's gorgeous.
Like, people have asked us a million times in voicemails, what planet would you want to live on, or where would you want to go? Like,
Cetos, really?
Cetos. This looks cool.
It's pretty, but I feel like seasonal depression would be a thing like year round.
Yeah, it seems very gloomy.
It's like very Seattle.
But
anyway, so Ahsoka has like a very somber attitude in this moment, and she states that the base is close by, but she tells Sabine, like, our enemy has the map and they're the only one who knows how to get to Thrawn and Ezra, but like, we have to make a difficult choice. Like, it's either we go and they don't, or nobody goes. Because she fears what could be if Thrawn were to return. And so she has it made up that it's okay to sacrifice saving Ezra for the greater good of the entire...
The greater good.
Of the book.
No, it's a reference to Hot Fuzz. I was literally just talking.
Why would I know what Hot Fuzz is?
I was just talking to Tanner. We were just texting Tanner about that movie, and there's a running joke where they say the greater good. Anyways,
I thought
all you Hot Fuzz fans out there, you know what I'm talking about.
I thought it was a Thrawn reference because that's.
Oh well, yeah, that too. But
yeah. And so obviously Sabine is like distraught about that, like shocked by that, like realizing that yes, that is the choices that we have to make. Like, who do we choose, and are we willing to make the hard choices? And Ahsoka says, Sabine, can I count on you to make the right decisions? So I was like,
oh, this is when she says the thing too, by the way. She's like, better than allowing Thrawn's return as the heir to the Empire. Yeah, I was like, oh, you said the name of the book in the movie, or it is one of those moments.
So I was like, when that conversation happened, I was like, something bad is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, this is not gonna go well. And so I was very worried about that. And this is like the tone already shot. Like, the music is very like this, it's dimly lit, because what I've noticed in like the first 3 episodes is that the colors and the lighting is very bright, just like Rebels was. It was very bright colors in its animation style. But in this episode, it got dim and dull and dark, and I'm like, this is not your Rebels show, kids show anymore. This is much darker, much deeper. Um, just how it looked, I thought, kind of portrayed that. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think about the scene about Ahsoka's moment, Sabine's? Like, what were you thinking when this occurred? This conversation happened. Like, were you worried about things going bad, about Sabine making the right decision?
I'm kind of annoyed by their dynamic.
What?
Yeah. I'm just like, for me, I was like, it's a freaking moody teenager and a parent who doesn't fully understand the teenager, and they're butting heads. Like they butt heads all the time. And like, I get it. I understand it's the story, but I was like,
Sabine's like 30 years old, right?
yeah, but it feels like a teenager to me.
She does.
She's like, oh, mom, yes, you can. Like, it
It
gives me
is
that
like
energy.
a master and apprentice, the same way Anakin was with Obi-Wan the entire time.
Yeah.
Moody. But I didn't really, like, for me, it was more or less like, I knew she was not going to listen.
Yeah,
Like,
that was the other thing. It's like super predictable.
Yeah, it was really predictable.
That she didn't destroy the map?
No, that she wasn't going to listen to Sabine. Or, I mean, Sabine wasn't going to listen to Ahsoka. And
yeah.
She was going.
So where didn't she listen? Like, what?
She gave the map and she went on the ship.
Well,
so that's what I just asked about the map. You said no. So I was like really confused.
But the biggest thing is, like, she literally was like, Ahsoka fell. I don't know if she's dead. But instead of worrying about my master, I want to go find this boy. Like, that's all she cares about is him. She doesn't care about the Thrawn stuff at all.
But he's literally the most important person in the galaxy, or not anymore, technically, because he's out of the galaxy. But you know what I mean? Like, the most important person to her. Like, why wouldn't that be a hard decision for her? And then why wouldn't she?
I'm not saying I understand the concept. But I'm just saying it's predictable. When they said this, when she said, we need to stick together and you need to make sure you make the right decision, we knew by her saying that she was going to make the wrong decision. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense for her character. It completely does. Because she's been more fixated on finding Ezra than becoming a Jedi again. She already gave up on Ahsoka. So it wasn't that hard for her to do it again.
I don't think she gave up on Ahsoka. I think she was powerless to help her, because this guy who's like 6'5" and like super brute strength is between her and Ahsoka. So it's like she couldn't jump off the edge and try and save her.
I think she could have destroyed the map.
Well,
and then then she probably would have died, but at least she tried.
Yeah, I think for me, it might be it might be this whole like unexplained dynamic of they were master and apprentice for so long. That's one of the things. I think that's the one part of the show for me that's like I still don't quite get, and it doesn't resonate with me very deeply. Like I don't feel like I've been given a reason to care about their relationship, and because of that, it's annoying. The bickering and the dysfunction is annoying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't agree at all.
That's fine.
I don't, because I think it's being set up as both Ahsoka and Sabine and Rebels knew that they had responsibility to find Ezra.
Right.
And so they're the only two people in the galaxy that have that weight on their shoulders. So it makes sense that they want to find him, but also that there's going to be conflict, because they both feel like maybe they individually have responsibility over the other person, so they're kind of just going to cause a conflict. And so, and we learned also here that what drove them apart seemed to imply was something with the purge on Mandalore. Because Balin says your family was killed on Mandalore because your master didn't trust you or something like that. So I think Sabine had a means to stop what happened in the purge and failed or something. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
See, that's the thing though. Like it's been really difficult for me. Like it's not difficult for me to invest in the characters because obviously we have Rebels and we have Clone Wars, and like I'm fully invested in the characters. It's been very difficult for me to invest in their relationship because from the very beginning it's like, oh, Sabine's not going to help me, and then Sabine's like, you never made it easy for me, and then Sabine's like, okay, I'll join you, and then now they're like butting heads this whole time, and I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, yo, Sabine, you should have just freaking listened. Like, well, I get it. I get that Ezra's so important to her, and I'm sure maybe people are going to boo me off the podcast, and I'll never be wanted on again for saying this. But I'm like, it's annoying. There's a part of it that's like, I love Ahsoka, I love Sabine, I love the direction the show is going, but I'm like, this whole thing. It maybe if I had the backstory and I was more invested, like maybe if I had seen the relationship. And seen it fall apart, and I was like, no, like this, you know what I'm saying? Like when Ahsoka leaves the Order in Clone Wars, it tears your heart out, and it tears your heart out because you've had, freaking 4 or 5. I don't even remember what season was. It's 5 seasons to get to this point, and you're like, no, like what? You know what I'm saying? But with them, it's like, some things happened. Now they don't like each other fully, and then Ahsoka, like that scene to me just felt like an angsty teenager and a parent. It's like, now you're gonna be good when we go to the formal dinner, right? Yes, and then they like fart, on the mic or something and embarrass the family. You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of surprised that that's your interpretation. Like I did not feel that at all, because I feel like last episode, much of their relationship was resolved. And so going into this
episode, which is weird because that's what makes this episode weird for me. It's like most of it was resolved, and then I felt like it was dysfunctional again.
Over, yeah.
But I just don't see where it was dysfunctional, because she didn't do the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, the only way they're not dysfunctional is if she just did what Ahsoka told her to do.
No, it's just it's the vibe of the exchange for me. Because like you can clearly tell that like Sabine,
it seems like Ahsoka still didn't trust her at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If Ahsoka would have not said anything and it would have had the same outcome, it would have been a bigger impact to that outcome, I think, than her saying that statement, because it felt like we knew what was happening.
Yeah.
The same way you spoiled the episode for Andrew, it was like that. It was like,
I didn't spoil anything for Andrew.
Kidding, but you know what I mean? Like, we knew by her saying that was going to be an issue later on in the episode. If they would have just not said, if she would have not said that line, like, I need.
Yeah, it was a pretty big foreshadowing.
We already
point.
knew. I thought we were at that point. Like, I already thought you were trusting her.
But then, like shortly after, Hu Yang's like, Hu Yang is like, stick together. You're jumping ahead a little bit. I'm not going to talk about the fight scene. We can talk about that in a second. But then there's this moment.
Yeah.
He's like, you're better together. And then Ahsoka's like, it's more mature than what I'm about to do. But she's like, yeah, you're okay. And then Sabine's like, yes, we'll stay together. And she like bows her head a little bit. And I'm like, dude, they're not going to freaking stay together.
Yeah. Like that too. That was another thing where it was like, when Hu Yang said that, you knew that they weren't going to do that. Therefore, you knew they were going to get separated.
But, so
those two lines were the only thing in this episode that took me out of it.
I don't know. I think you guys are. I don't know. I'm just surprised that this is your reaction, because like,
I mean, I don't know why you're surprised at Andrew, because he said that last week that he didn't really like the relationship.
I honestly have a really hot take that people are probably going to be really mad about, but I'm not going to say it.
Just say it.
Well, you can't say that and then not say it.
Oh,
here we go.
I think the show, I understand why she's there.
Oh,
Sabine.
Because of I understand why she's there because of the Ezra thing and the Thrawn thing. But honestly, for me personally, and people are going to hate me for this, and that's fine. It's time for me to have a controversial opinion every once in a while. I think she's more of a detractor than an add to the show.
interesting.
Like I don't think
it's a hot take. I think a lot of people are like, "Why is Sabine in here?"
Yeah, I think it would have been a better show if it had just been solely about Ahsoka. But like I love Balin. I love Shin.
See,
I even love Merrick for being whatever the freaking fart cloud he was. Like I love everything about this, but at every point, to me, this relationship has been the thing where I'm like, it's getting in the way. It's just getting in the way at this point.
and
Like
I
Ahsoka,
think that is the point, though.
But-
It's supposed to get in the way
I-
of them getting there.
But I think this pairing is a necessity, though.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I don't disagree with you on that point.
So how?
It's just annoying.
But how could it not be annoying if it was just like, it would be worse if it was just Ahsoka, because that would be a deviation from canon, because it's like, no, it's Ahsoka and Sabine are supposed to find Ezra.
Well,
No,
that's
but
why
the
I
thing is-
said at the beginning of what I just said, I completely understand the need for her to be there.
Well-
Like I'm not saying you take her out and you rework the whole thing, because that would really dilute the story, and I get that. I'm just saying, for me personally, my least favorite part of this show by a landslide has been their relationship.
Yeah, I think if they were still there and they were just friends,
Yes,
and she went to Sabine
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, I think I found a way to get Ezra. Do you want to come help?" And Sabine's like, "Heck yeah!" And she drops what she's doing on that planet and goes and helps. If there's no butting heads,
an alternative, I think that would work better for me personally. And I said this last time I was on the pod, but like I think an alternative would just give us a flashback of them going off to find Ezra and it not working, and something really bad happening, and then they split. That's totally, like, that to me is way better than the like, oh, I was trying to be a Jedi, but I'm really not force sensitive.
I don't think they've actually tried though before.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good point. But like, give me something that's like really high stakes, and Sabine does something that Ahsoka doesn't approve of.
Don't worry, there'll be a comic book.
But don't you think that with Balin's comment about the siege of Mandalore being the point of conflict that split the relationship, don't you think that's what the issue was?
Maybe it is, but the first 3 episodes, all we've gotten is, Ahsoka didn't understand me, and then Ahsoka's like, Sabine wasn't a great student, and like that's all we get.
But
lead with the
scene.
I think that would be a weird start to a show, though, because then like it would have to take place years before the timeline that we're in, and then like they would jump forward to.
Well, I mean, either way.
But like, what if
there's something that they're talking about in the past that shattered the relationship?
Right, but we have 4 more episodes. Don't you think that they're going to shed light on that?
Maybe.
Oh, they will.
And if they do, I'll eat everything I'm saying and I'll apologize. But for right now, 4 episodes in, not having the full picture, this current Andrew.
This timeline, Andrew.
I don't fully. It's really difficult. It's just really difficult for me to like invest in the relationship.
But I feel like that's most storytelling in general, is that they don't show you all the cards at first. They slowly show you it over time. And that's what
but I feel
doing.
like in other instances of storytelling, they give me more to go with, or they give me something more believable. But that's the other thing. Like, it's not believable to me that Sabine would be a Jedi. Like, Drew, you made the freaking post on Instagram like days ago, weeks ago, or whatever. Where it was the clip from Rebels. You remember on the Empire Radio Instagram? It was a clip from Rebels, and Kanan like straight up on the comm link is like, Sabine doesn't have the Force.
Yeah,
more or less. I'm paraphrasing, but then like that's the. I don't know. That's the thing for me where I'm like, it shouldn't have been her being trained as a Jedi.
But Kanan did say the same thing that Ahsoka did say, that the Force lies in everyone.
Sure.
And Ahsoka's not saying that she's going to use the Force. It's just that she has a little less Force sensitive than Finn.
Yeah. But like what I'm trying to say with all that is like these first 3 episodes have been the focus of the dysfunction in their relationship has been this failed tutelage
for you,
right? And so for me, that's what makes it difficult. And it's the 2 things. Is one, I don't think the tutelage should have happened, at least not in the framing of master and Padawan and Force training. And then the second layer is like, it's just there's so much that I didn't see. And maybe the difference with other forms of storytelling is that sometimes we get fresh characters. We don't have anything to go off of. But with Ahsoka and Sabine, I've invested so much in their characters. I think the fact that the whole tutelage thing really is just making it unbelievable for me. And so it just feels weird. Like,
see, I agree and disagree with you. I like their relationship in the sense of master and apprentice. I actually like that. I know that that's probably a hot take for some people. I like Sabine.
You're entitled to that opinion.
I think Sabine and what she's bringing to the table is good. I just think this line was, I wish we just didn't get this line because I didn't.
The line of asking for trust?
Yes. Because I thought we already got trust before. Like we said, we thought it was all fixed the last episode. Like, and that's what I'm like, why are we questioning this relationship?
Yeah.
Again? That for me is why.
That's weird that you see it as that, like that being obviously, okay, she's asking, can I trust you? That's a relationship thing. But like, it's literally the biggest and hardest decision. Like, it's not out of the line to ask that. Because I guess we all here agree that the relationship was mended in a sense last episode. But that doesn't mean that they're not supposed to do repairing.
No, but you don't.
They're supposed to. It takes time to heal from that, even though they've gotten past it. It takes time.
Yeah.
And so, like, to ask that, like, I know we just fixed things, kind of, but this is the hardest decision you're ever gonna have to make. Like, are you gonna? Can I trust you?
By them, if she didn't say that, you don't think that moment would have just been just as powerful? Because, like, he literally said, like, I'm the only one that can bring you to your friend. That would have been just as powerful than her butting heads with Ahsoka, even though Ahsoka in her mind is dead now.
I don't see it as a conflict, like butting heads. Like, I don't see them two butting heads at all in this episode. Like, it makes no sense. Like, that's your interpretation.
Well, I think if 2 people are interpreting and you're not, I don't.
Well, I'm not going to say that. Like, if Jeremiah is also entitled to his interpretation, like, I'm not going to argue with his interpretation.
That's a.
But for me, like, there's a pretty big eye roll. She's like,
it was pretty.
Like, there's
dramatic.
like a whole like, yeah. But if Jeremiah interpreted, like, I'm not. My point here is to share the way I interpreted it, and if Jeremiah interpreted it that way, like, sick. I'm not here to tell him he's wrong.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Dude,
that
you literally just said that. Come on.
He's like, there's 2 against 1, so clearly you're wrong, Jeremiah.
Well, I'm just saying, I just don't understand how you didn't realize that was an issue.
That what was an issue?
That she literally was like, there was an argument in their head. It's like they were both showing that they were like, Ahsoka's like, are you like, can I trust you? And she's like, yes. Like, it was clearly like a drama. Like,
oh, I didn't see that at all. Like, I just think Sabine just has a certain personality that's like that. That doesn't necessarily mean that she's
Sabine.
Gosh, I don't know. And also, if Sabine thinks that Ahsoka's dead, she's like, now my only hope is Baylan. Like,
so okay, so this brings me to another question that I had that I wanted to pose, but I guess you gave the door open. So now I would like to preface what I'm about to ask with the fact that I haven't watched Rebels in a while. Okay. It's not so the especially the latter seasons, that Sabine is not as fresh in my mind.
Okay.
However, as someone, I understand the pull of the most important person in the world, right? I know that is an indescribably strong pull, right? It's very tough. But as someone who has been through enough battles and had to make enough extremely difficult decisions, is it believable that she would just do what she did? That she wouldn't put the safety of the galaxy.
Yes.
Because she's not dumb. She understands the stakes. Like, she's been through the whole empire. Like, she's been on the precipice of this everything versus my safety decision, my wants. Does it feel like the same, a progression of the same character?
Well, what was Jeremiah was saying was if everything she wanted was always taken from her via the Siege of Mandalore, if Ahsoka somehow prevented her to help save Mandalore,
Yeah.
and she lost her entire planet, at this point she does have nothing besides her little cat. And so,
It's a
like,
cute cat.
it is cute, but she didn't bring it with her. So, and I don't know who's feeding it. No one wants to talk. There's PETA. Where are you at right
Zeb.
now? But
It's Zeb. Zeb's feeding it.
but you know what I mean?
Begrudgingly.
The
but he's-
Loth Wolves are taking care of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you know what I mean? Like that makes sense to me. Why she would, because she has nothing left, and she fought
Yeah,
this
but,
war,
like,
and she won the war, and she got nothing out of it except from heartbreak and more heartbreak. The war's over, and she got nothing
Yeah.
out of it. She's not involved with the New Republic.
Yeah.
Like she's just there. So for her, it makes sense why she would just be like, you know what? If I can find Ezra, take Ezra back, then maybe me and him can fight Thrawn.
It's interesting because, like, you're explaining, it makes total sense, by the way. Great, very well worded. You're explaining the backstory of a main character to a show. You're explaining something that would need to be seen and explained.
Well, like Jeremiah said, like we will get that.
I'm just saying, like, going into this as the Ahsoka show, we
Oh,
have two characters that
I don't think it's
need
Ahsoka show anymore.
Yes.
I haven't.
So
Well, these first 3 episodes or 4 episodes aren't Ahsoka. They're Sabine show. And Ahsoka.
yeah, I really didn't feel like it started being Ahsoka until the end of this episode.
Correct. Now it's
So-
Ahsoka show because she is gonna be with her
They're
man.
separated. She's no longer with Sabine, so
Correct.
now it's the Ahsoka show.
But honestly, like, chat, let me know if I'm wrong, but it's felt like a Sabine show and Ahsoka.
And I want to be clear, like, I really genuinely do not enjoy where I'm coming from. Like, I want to make that clear. Like, for the longest time,
party pooper.
yeah, because, like, for the longest time, like, if you go back and listen to the podcast, like, I was always like I try to be really positive and, like, pull the good out of all these stories.
What happens when you take a hiatus and you think too much?
Maybe, but like, it genuinely tears me up because, like, I want to be like, this is the best thing we've ever experienced in sliced bread. But
that's 1937, by the way. That's when sliced bread was commercially sold for the first time.
Jeremiah, you wouldn't know that.
So, like, it's not something
1937.
Something like that. 38, 37, something like that.
That's crazy.
Them.
It's just it's one of those things where, like, I feel this way, and I don't really like that I feel this way, but there's something about this show that I'm like, is it better? Is it better than a lot of than every other show other than Andor? Yeah. But, like, is it?
I don't. That's a hot take too.
I mean,
Mando season
live
1
action
is so good. We're just forgetting about Mando season 1, and like we spent 45 minutes on this one thing.
Well, but it is interesting, and maybe I should do some soul searching with what I'm about to say. But I didn't have any of these complaints with Andor. I didn't have like there was not one single relationship, character move, decision that they made that I was like, whoa, hey, wait a second, that's not right.
But it is because of what you said earlier about how it was all fresh, new things. Like you had no expectations of anyone because they're all new characters.
But I think that they wrote the characters in a more bulletproof way than some of the characters have been treated. And anyways, this is a bigger discussion. Again,
28. Oh,
10 years.
And again, maybe after this episode, people are going to be like, you know what? We really liked Andrew, but we don't like Andrew
I think
anymore.
More people are in your boat than you realize.
I also
and I hate that. I genuinely hate that. Like for once, I just want
you're used to being the good guy, and now you're a bad guy, and you're so worried about being the bad guy.
Yeah, like it sucks because like with Andor,
and I'm the positive one tonight. What the heck?
I just the one thing that I cannot deny is the way I felt after every episode of Andor and the way that I feel after every episode of this. And this show is phenomenal.
Dude,
like I'm not bragging on the show.
But me and Jeremiah loved last week's episode. We thought it was the best thing before this episode came out.
Yeah, and I thought it was all right.
Yeah. Oh, we read your
we read your comments on the podcast.
So anyways.
The fans are already aware that you're evil, right?
So I guess for me, I'm kind of like Qui-Gon Jinn in that I'm in the moment when I watch shows.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching Ahsoka. Yes, I have the context of Rebels and Clone Wars.
Sure.
But like I'm not interpreting it as if it's a standalone show. Like I feel like you're kind of looking at it as a standalone show. Like as a standalone show, it doesn't make sense unless you have all this other stuff.
Actually, no. The reason it doesn't make sense to me is because of the backstory that I have of the two characters.
Because there was a gap.
Right.
Yeah. But, and it doesn't make sense to me.
And what I'm saying is, if you look at it as a standalone, yes, we don't have that background story yet. But if you follow the story as a standalone story, we're getting clues to that. And I think
it's funny though, because like I completely missed the comment about the Siege of Mandalore. Like I don't even remember him saying that. And so if we are getting clues, like they're just little. They're there and you'll miss them.
They are. So. That line was very
kind of like the California saber in this episode.
Okay, I still don't. I didn't.
We'll get there eventually because we've in the first 2 minutes of the show and it's taken us an hour. So based on that, we'll be here till tomorrow night, folks. So.
Heck yeah, buckle up.
But I think we
got it. You
like beaten this this dead I don't know what's the name of those long-haired horses from episode 9, but
jeez,
we've beaten those. What?
That was dark.
Okay, we have the saying beating a dead horse. Well, those are the Star Wars horses. Are those long-haired?
Oh, ones that were like, what is the name?
They're riding on top of the ship.
This is beautiful right here. It's not gonna. It won't focus, but
you see the arm of.
God, that shot,
which is very similar to the second Dooku episode when it's those red trees and the droids are in the trees and you just see the size of the droids.
Ooh.
Very reminiscent.
Oh yeah. I watched fake Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon react to that today.
Next scene. Move on. For next 45-minute segment, they're at the temple. Shin, Balin, and Morgan.
Temple. I'm just kidding.
Yes, they called it a temple. So they go there. They're like, okay, we found them. We're gonna move in. Blah blah blah. Take them out, and Morgan's like, they're gonna take out the troops. Like it's not gonna slow them down. And
really quickly on this, I'm watching this as you're also describing it, so I have it fresh in my mind. At this point, Micaiah was like, "Is all she's good for, Morgan? Is all she good for just like standing around?" And I was like, to be fair, yeah, she hasn't really done anything other than that. And then the funny thing is, Drew, did you see that link for the Black Series pre-orders that I sent you? Okay, so they have these Black Series figures coming out for all of these characters, and Morgan's character literally doesn't come with anything. it's just her. And then if you slide to the next image, it's her. They pose the action figure in a standing pose behind her back. And I'm like, see, that's at least give us the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just her standing like she normally. Anyways, I love her character though. I love the Night Sister vibes. It was just funny.
Yeah.
So
Morgan's like, they're gonna take care of the troopers like really easy. So Balin's like, all right, Shin, you go with Morak and to help slow them down or whatever, because they're about to upload the coordinates. Now I made an error. What?
Are we still on this moment, or are you moving on?
Well, we are in this moment, but I was just going to give my misinterpretation of something that was said.
Yeah,
but
first and then
I was just going to say Balin is really good at. He has a lot of these where he's like, someone asks him a question and he provides a response that reframes it. So like Morgan goes, "Do I sense fear in your voice?" And he goes, "Experience." And then the last episode, it was like, she was like, something. It was the he's like, "I hate that Ahsoka will have to die," and she's like, "Do I sense remorse?" And he's just like, "No, just the truth." He does it with Ahsoka later. There's another one where it's like, boom, 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 3 in a row. He's like really good at like taking those things and flipping them.
In the chat, that Balin feels like Dooku to him. Like it gives him Dooku vibes.
Yeah,
and there
is a little bit more light side than Dooku was, but
oh really?
A little bit less evil.
I feel like
about that.
Balin is just sitting on the edge, waiting to.
Yeah, he's not fully committed to the dark side.
Oh, yeah, because his saber is orange; it's not red. He's almost there, but not enough.
I don't even.
Think freaking Dooku killed Yaddle. Like
facts.
Balin has yet to
kill Grogu's mom. We got a problem.
All right, moving on. So my misinterpretation of what was said, was so Balin tells Shin to go take care of the problem, like of Ahsoka and Sabine.
Yeah.
So that was what actually happened. Now I thought he said that to Morgan, and Morgan was like, "All right, I'm leaving." I thought Morgan was going to do some crazy witchcraft stuff at some point.
Sweet.
So the whole episode, I was waiting for her to do something crazy with magic, and it didn't happen. And then I realized magic with a K.
Yep.
And I didn't at the end of the episode. And I like, okay, whatever. And then I rewatched it. I'm like, oh, Balin said that to Shin, not Morgan. So I was kind of anticipating something the whole episode, and it never happened, which was my fault. But anyway, next scene, Hu Yang is fixing the ship outside, and Sabine is getting all mandoed up, and she was looking great, and she was looking for something that was on the other side of her line of sight, and she was panicking, and Ahsoka moved in like, out of here.
It's very, very symbolic.
In what way?
I mean, just the fact that Ahsoka has more experience and she can see things in a different light and can aid Sabine. I mean, it's just very thematic of like a master and apprentice relationship. Like,
right.
And
so it was great. It was a great moment.
Like Sabine has been away from battle for a little bit.
Yeah.
So she's a little bit more antsy.
Yeah, she's been doing angsty teenager stuff on Lothal.
Yeah, like riding
as a 30-year-old.
Hey, don't.
I see the pic. These are the same picture. The meme, like,
just because she's 30 doesn't mean she's acting 30.
Yeah,
that is true.
I know people that are in their 50s that literally wear stuff.
That'll preach. Anyways,
I'm just saying. But she was looking for her was it
power pack?
Power pack, yeah. Her ammo for her gun.
Bang bang, shoot shoot.
Right. So they're getting ready inside. Goes back to Hu Yang. He turns the ship on, and then he's kind of turns to the tree line and is looking around. And
did anybody jump scare? Did anybody jump a little bit?
I did.
No.
Miles did when we watched it earlier tonight.
Yeah, that did, dude. That HK droid comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So first of all, has Hu Yang always blinked?
Because
Because this episode was the first time I noticed that he blinked.
He's blinked in this show, yeah.
I didn't notice until this episode.
He has a few times in this show.
Yeah. And his eyes have they've squinted and stuff. Yeah.
I never noticed that before. I was like, this is interesting.
I don't know if he did in the Clone Wars, but I know he has in the show like many of times.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Blink and you'll miss it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Okay.
So Hu Yang, he's doing, and he kind of turns away and then turns back, and we finally, after years of anticipation, got live action Rock'em Sock'em robots, and it was great. I really thought this fight scene between
it was freaking brilliant.
And
I still have really many great things to say about this episode, by the way, everyone.
To show that he had last episode that he had multiple hands.
Yeah,
I really out in this during a boxing scene.
Yeah, I really liked that we got some of him fighting the pirates vibes from Clone Wars. Like, he's still a really good fighter, and I'm really glad that we saw that.
Yeah, so that was great. And then in the fight, he kind of hits one of the electrical lines, and power goes out. And Sabine's like, "He sucks," and Ahsoka's like, "He's not that bad. We gotta get out there." I thought it was cool that they were just ready to go.
Yeah.
Also, forgot to mention that when Sabine was getting her gear together, her Mandalorian pistols, practical, look great. I always liked them in animation.
I didn't say it because I don't want to.
If they make a Black Series of those, maybe.
You heard it here first, folks.
Maybe not a yes. I'd see how many zeros are on the end of that price tag, and maybe
2.
Out of all of the lightsabers, you're like, no,
I don't care about lightsabers. I don't care about lightsabers.
Okay. I would second that though. When I saw that gun, I didn't want to say, "Oh, I really want her gun," because I typically say that about a lot of Star Wars stuff. But then when you said, "Okay, yes, her guns look so dope, and I just want them to be functional." If Black Series,
you can actually put bullets in them.
If you, yes and no, because now that you say that, we're gonna get Nerf is gonna do one the same way they did Mandalorian rifle, and that one sucked because it's functional. They have to make it orange tips,
right?
By law, and it's dumb. But
that's not dumb. It's
dumb.
Very
or if you want to put them on your wall, it doesn't look like. I'm saying if. I don't want them to be functional. I just want them to be able to move, but I don't want it to be functional.
Okay. Cool. So Sabine and Ahsoka jump out there, and they are a great duo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is fantastic. I watched this clip earlier in the day because they released clips.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is sick.
They just work very well together. It felt like Anakin and Rex, or Ahsoka and Rex, where they knew how to move next to each other and not get in each other's way. They worked together, they teamed up, and it was just
the last 3 seconds of that fight are just S tier. And she has her lightsaber in the guy, moves the other guy, and then Sabine ropes the guy. She cuts him,
pulls a dude to get shot in the back punch.
That's so sick, dude.
Yeah, and I really liked how Sabine was just blocking all the blasts with her Beskar.
Yep.
And when that happened, Ahsoka knew I got to help her, and that's when she threw the guy in front of the bullets. But it was just kind of I was just thinking, and we get kind of told this by Hu Yang a few seconds later, but it's they've worked together in the past, and they were a good duo in the past, and that gave me hope.
Yep.
That
they're going to rebellions are built on.
Yes. But that their relationship is going to be mended so well moving forward in the show that their great partnership is going to be amazing later on in the episode season, and future seasons of Mando maybe, or the Thrawn movie, whatever. When we see them together, I think it's going to be a well-oiled machine.
I will say that Ahsoka is not as sassy as Sabine when they leave. Sabine is just the sassy one.
Oh,
Ahsoka wasn't as sassy.
So like conflict wise, Ahsoka, she was just smiling.
Her classic smile.
Huh?
It was a little sassy smile though.
No, it was just much more.
It's Ahsoka's smirk that she does.
Yeah,
it's just her thing. Like, but yeah. So then after the fight, Hu Yang is like, "You guys always work the best together, in my opinion." Like, it wasn't like he humanized it by saying opinion, like not in my observation or my whatever. Like, he's like, my opinion, like his personal interpretation was like they work better together, and like, so do one thing for me, stay together. And they're like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, this kind of jabbing at him. But yeah, so they go off to go to the temple, and then it jumps to the New Republic fleet and Hera and Jason and Chopper. And Hera's like, I can do whatever I want. I'm going to see Toast. I don't need Mon Mothma's permission. And so it was interesting, though, that she brought Jason like on this mission where she knows crap is going down. Like,
I was really interested about that. I mean, like, I didn't mind it, but I was like, they're going into the war zone.
Jeremiah, you said that last time, that like last week, that you didn't think we were going to see Jason anymore.
Yeah, I didn't think. I thought we would just get one little, all right, nod. Like, here's a little guy, but I guess he's going to be a regular moving forward, maybe. Unless next episode he gets put on a Uber and sent back to the New Republic fleet. Like, all right, we're going off to war. You got to go back to.
Well, now that they know that they're literally flying into a different place, she might have more leverage.
Oh, interesting. That's a very interesting observation, DeView twist. She brought Jason because she's leaving the New Republic for good.
Hot take.
Interesting. I don't disagree.
Okay, that's interesting, but she brought the X-Wings with her, which I don't think she would leave with people not knowing she's leaving.
I think she brought Jason.
Now, they're all dead except for Carson. But...
Yeah. Which I loved seeing him.
Yes.
I
think she brought Jason because she didn't want Jason to... If she ended up having to go to a different galaxy, she didn't want her child to be somewhere where she wasn't. And who knows how long it's going to take to get to a different galaxy and get back. So if there is a potential of her going there.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
As a mom, you don't want to leave your child.
They have what, 9 massive hyperdrives?
Yeah, there's no way the Ghost can't make that.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, like, I wonder how long it's going to take them to get to the other galaxy. Because I mean, you have 9 hyperdrives, but still, like, that's a long distance. We reread in the Thrawn books all the time. Like, they'll be in hyperspace for freaking hours at a time, or days, even depending on how far they have to go.
Right,
so.
And that's crappy Chiss ascendancy stuff. Like, it's not as fast as hyperdrive. And they said the last episode that the speeds that this thing can go on is like insane, and you can see in this episode how fast it goes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so it is faster than you would normally a fast drive would do. But
I just also think they have 7 because I don't think the distance with 1 would get them there.
Well, no,
well, right.
Well, I don't. The Ghost can't get there.
Right.
So
that's why there's space whales.
Like, I don't want to make
star whales. Sorry,
I guess the star whales can drag them.
Star whale? What?
Last episode, Hu Yang was like, they're officially called star whales called Purgil.
It doesn't matter. It's a space whale.
Yes, you're right.
In my heart.
But yeah,
yep.
Like, I don't think they can make the jump without their help. But I also think I think she's gonna go back to the New Republic, report it. And then they're going to figure out how to get there themselves. Or just wait for Thrawn to come back.
Or she's going to try and land and get Hu Yang, and then a space whale is going to grab her.
Or that.
Cool. Man, this scene is just so...
But I don't know if Hera's going to go.
The whole
just like... Zeb? That's a good question.
Well, Zeb was doing his own thing.
He'll be here. He's gonna hear that Sabine was taken. Hera's gonna ask for help. Zeb's gonna jump on board.
Zeb was at the bar with this guy.
Okay, if that happens, this is really going to be Rebel Season 5. Like, this isn't Ahsoka anymore.
And then Zeb's going to be like, quick, and he's going to run down the street, knock on a door, and it's going to be 85-year-old Rex that opens the door.
Oh
Hera, Ahsoka, and Sabine need your help. All right, sir. What do you need? That's actually pretty good. I was kind of surprised at how good I could do that.
That was like a solid 7.5 out of 10.
But I did the math, and
yeah, that was the other thing too.
He's actually 84 years old, I think. About now, 84, 85. So, I think because it costs that much, like we have to recycle this CGI.
I will say this whole scene of them leaving from the view of the cockpit and then the ghost flying out into space and like this whole thing is just
when we saw the live action for like not the first time but like up close for the first time, I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, this looks really good. Goodness.
Talking about when they leave the fleet?
Yeah.
I'll never get sick of people entering hyperspace and then exiting. I'll never get tired of it.
You know what I also will never get sick of?
Yeah. What's that, Drew?
I'll never get sick of coffee. Andrew, will he get sick of coffee?
Never. Till the day I die.
Well, I've never had a cup of coffee. And if you want to know why, listen to last week's episode when Lucy's mom sent in a voicemail and asked me why I've never had a cup of coffee. And I have a deep conversation with Drew.
Yeah, on that. Pretty long, actually.
It was actually a long discussion.
Almost longer than
How come you guys had that without me?
Because no one asked a question.
And you didn't want to come on last week.
Yeah. I didn't have time. Okay.
We asked you to come on, and you didn't come on. You only have yourself to blame. And life circumstances that you have no control over. So,
but go
that being said,
and then voice your opinion next time you're on.
That being said, if you love coffee just as much as Drew and Andrew, we got a deal for you. Our sponsor for today is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. And listen to this little commercial to see how you can get a discount on some great coffee.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right, cool. So, Hera and the team, they are on their way to Cetos, and it goes to Cetos, and
we're just gonna gloss over how Jason gets to pull.
Yes,
the hypers. Okay, that's fine.
That was cute.
It's just pulling a thing down. It's not like
it's freaking cute though.
It's cute.
Anyways,
it would have been cooler if you used the Force.
The classic Star Wars circular wipe transition too.
Oh, yeah. I cannot.
In any other genre, that transition would be
training him to be a Jedi. It's gonna be awesome.
What?
Yep.
Two different things just happened. I don't know. But anyway, we're moving on. So, the hyperspace ring is in the atmosphere of Cetos.
Yep.
Which just looked cool.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, this whole episode looks phenomenal.
And so she does her little the flame thing, the magic thing. Let's get this started. And so she does a magic flame. The map turns on, tilts, shoots a line, and then they're transmitting the coordinates to this thing. And so Balin is like, "Hey, you sure this is right? Because if you're slightly off, we're gonna be lost in the void." And so that'd be terrible if you realize that you're lost in the void. There's no way to get out. So,
Yep.
You gotta avoid that.
Oh,
that was actually pretty good. that was actually pretty good.
I love how she's like, "Have faith," and he's like, "Faith? I lost that a long time ago."
That was another one. That was a.
Yeah, he's.
It's like dad.
His lines are
comment,
crisp.
but like,
yeah,
it's the depressing version.
Yeah.
All right, so then it jumps to Ahsoka and Sabine run through the woods, and they get stopped by Shin and Morlock.
Fart Ghost.
So now at this point, it jumps back and forth between each pairing, and so we're going to kind of do what we did with Andor, where we're going to just discuss one story of that and then go to another story. So we'll start with Shin and Sabine, just because that's the smaller scene. So the two pairs meet, and Shin runs, and Sabine chases after her. Which, now, that being said, yes,
I'll take him now. We'll take him now.
that
Attica, no. This is the whole thing. It's that whole thing again.
kind of. But to be
to
be fair, like it kind of looks like they run off and they're like a mile apart from each other, but they're in eyesight of each other going. So it's like
they should have stayed together. You know what would have been really freaking cool if they had actually stayed together and they would have done what they did with the henchmen, but just against Shin and Merrick. How sick would that fight have been?
Back the whole time?
I agree, yes and no, but I also think that the two have never fought this kind of enemy together before.
Well, I mean, tactically it makes sense, but that's fine.
So I there's arguments on each side, but they're still close enough. They were eyesight.
Yeah, but as soon as they separated that much, we knew that they weren't listening.
To be fair, it was at the end of everything, like once Morak is killed, Ahsoka is the one who runs away.
Well, yeah.
So she's the one that leaves, not Sabine. So keep that in mind. Don't.
Oh no,
people been hating on Sabine this whole episode, and that was
I'm not saying
Ahsoka's
Sabine.
problem.
I'm saying it's both of them.
Yeah, I mean, Ahsoka's a terrible person anyway.
Whoa.
So there you go. Jeremiah wanted me to hate on Ahsoka, so
I didn't say that. So they're fighting. I thought there was some cool. Both choreography of these fights are great, but the Shin and Sabine stuff was really fun because first it started with like Blaster versus Saber, and then it was Saber versus Saber.
Yo, she got her saber out so fast.
Dude, I'm telling you, y'all hating and think that whatever that girl name is, Shin was towing with Sabine. Sabine was holding herself for a long time.
There was literally a part where I paused and looked at Mikhail and I was like, I'm honestly really surprised Sabine has lasted this long.
Like a long time.
Yeah, like I don't think.
I think Shin is very unbalanced. I think she has inner conflict, and so like if she was more focused.
Oh, I think
her out immediately.
That she has a very unbalanced. When later on, Ahsoka handles her in 5 seconds. Like we know that she's this rage.
Right, but I also think Sabine is still better than we give her credit for.
Oh, me too.
That's no, she's a great warrior.
I think she's a
boss, hands down.
So I think either way, whatever. So the fighting is great. I love throughout these two fight scenes that they're just cutting trees over. Like it's just
cool.
I just like when
things get cut in half.
It grounds it.
Yeah.
It grounds it more in reality when you see the collateral destruction.
And you could see like the burn when the tree got cut in half too. Like it wasn't like a fast thing too. Like you could slowly see the tree like just fall over. It was
here is my question. I have a question. At what we don't see Ahsoka's second saber for the rest of this episode.
Yeah. think she was
Why?
that confident.
So it at the end of the episode when she grabs the map.
Okay, well,
Well,
yeah,
we
her
know
hand's
that.
messed up.
No, yeah. So but the point is, in order for her to fight Balin, she has to have dual strength in one saber. She would get killed instantly if she had two sabers against Balin.
Oh,
She was too weak because she
'cause
couldn't
Balin is so
when
strong.
when her hand burned and she could only use one saber in her hand. That's when she was being pushed back, losing to Balin very easily because she didn't have the strength to push back against his strength.
I agree with that now.
And so she focused on one saber because she knew that she had to use dual strength to push back on what he would do.
Sure, yeah, but like there are fighting styles that you use your enemy's momentum against them, and they're literally built for
right. But
so like if you have two,
this is also lightsaber and the Force and stuff, so it's not.
Which is all the more reason why she might not need two hands the whole time. Like I completely agree with what you're saying. I completely agree. Like I get it, but also like as skilled as Ahsoka is at sword fighting, like even with the fight with Merrick,
Well, the
like
Merrick,
he has
thought
two.
Merrick was.
You see this? This is the blades.
So one blade that is very impractical and the
Well,
worst.
Well, no, I'm just saying she could have ended the fight much more quickly.
I think she was towing with Merrick a little bit by.
No, she wasn't. I think she was just trying to get the timing down and like understand his fighting. Because before, when she was fighting him, it was with an HK droid also.
Mm-hmm.
But since this was 1-on-1, she had to do a little bit of learning at first to see what his techniques were. And then when he turned the spinny blade thing on, she's like, "All right, I got this." But we're not going on that fight.
We're there yet.
We're still on Sabine and Shin.
Oh,
so they're fighting. So once Ahsoka runs off, they're still fighting. Shin knocks out Sabine's saber out of her hand and starts pushing her back, and Sabine's blocking with her Beskar. And Sabine gets pushed down or falls down or whatever, and she tries a force push. Shin thinks she has the force at this point and turns because she thinks she's getting force pushed, and she doesn't. And that's when she realized, you have no power. And I thought that was the funniest moment in this episode when I laughed when Sabine got her. She's like, got her. She because she spun around, like turned around.
See, I thought
like
you're right. The way you predict that was right. I thought she actually pushed her, but wasn't strong enough, and that's why she said that.
Right. But
I think she actually did get her. At least when I first saw it, I thought she actually did push her, but it was so weak that it was nothing.
It was just like a.
Yeah, I think that if it was an actual force push, Sabine would have like freaked out, like, oh, I finally did it, like type of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I just thought it was great how at this point Shin thinks that Sabine is force sensitive. When she does the force push move, she turns away to get hit, and nothing happens.
So, if that is the case, and she didn't do it, does that just show you how bad Sabine is with lightsaber dueling then? Because if she was that scared of her thinking that she had the force in her and Sabine was still...
Well, I think the first thing you learn when you're Padawan is how to force push and force pull. So it's like, that doesn't mean that you're good with anything. It's just like, oh, the first thing you learn is, ha! And she can't.
No, the first thing you learn is the Jedi Code.
I'm just saying,
there's no emotion, there's peace.
I don't know, because remember in I think it was the second High Republic book that we read, like the one guy was like,
I read Rise of the Red Blade.
He was in charge of the Padawan toddlers. He's like, there's nothing more terrible than a room full of sorcerer kids that can move things with their mind. Like, so before they're able to understand a code, they're able to like throw toys across the room. And
true. I mean, that's like the first thing they do. But
yeah, and we even in Clone Wars when there's Sheev is trying to steal babies. They come across that with a Rodian that's like an infant, and he's just moving a toy around in the air. Like,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
But anyway,
I just think it more shows that Shin is not as good at fighting handicap. She has a lot of what you were saying. Like she's pretty unbalanced, and she is a Padawan.
And we don't know how old or how long she's been. Like was she from a child raised? Like she found like 5 years ago, and she's still.
Who knows?
So, but anyway, I thought that was great. Just the fear that she had of Sabine, and it wasn't.
I thought it was going to awaken in her, and I was like, "Oh, here we go," and it didn't. So it's okay.
Yeah, and so then
Andrew would have rage quit at that point.
So, but then she get a call to like go back to the temple or something, and she.
No.
Why did she leave? I forget why.
Well, because Sabine does a little wrist rocket thingies.
Oh, that's right. You have no power.
And then she drops her lightsaber, and then she's like,
wrist. She doesn't have her lightsaber at this point.
Correct. No. Shin drops her lightsaber.
Shin does. She gets thrown back.
Yeah, when the wrist rockets hit her wrist.
Oh yeah.
And she drops her lightsaber, and then she's like, ninja bomb, and then she leaves.
Mm-hmm. She just runs, which is kind of weird. Maybe she was more worried about Ahsoka.
I don't know.
Like, why did she kill her in that moment?
Plot armor, bro. Plot armor.
I don't know, but I thought the whole magic poof thing was funny, just because it's like, oh, there's a witch doing magic, and she does like the magician poof, and then she's gone. Like I was like, that's kind of funny. I think that was intentional to be kind of like a little subtle magic joke, but I could be wrong. So that's that story. Now let's jump to the Ahsoka versus Morak, and then Ahsoka continue on. So they're fighting. I thought it was great.
It's great. The Inquisitor lightsabers are so stupid,
and that was shown here. Dave Filoni was like,
no. I get it. Like I am glad that the fight went the way it did. But like even reading, I was talking with Devue Twist mentioned Iskat from Rise of the Red Blade, and of course it's the book that is canon, by the way. So there you go. That takes you inside to the like Inquisitorius and how they were recruited and stuff. And she like at one point she's like, this is superior, and it's got all these cool features and stuff and blah blah blah. I'm like, I have never seen an Inquisitor and been like, that is a tactical advantage. Good job.
Yeah.
Like a lightsaber staff like Maul's, yes. Does it have obvious weaknesses? You know, poked at by Obi-Wan Kenobi, yes. But like that makes sense when you got to. But it's like the little thing with this. Mark was doing all this stuff, and I was like, dude, this is about to be over so fast. Mm-hmm. This is gonna be done.
I think everyone understands the goofiness of the.
Jeremiah said, "You need let's keep going. Stop, Andrew."
Oh, it was awesome. That's so sad, though. It's not our prediction.
Oh, so
our prediction.
Well, they're fighting. Predicting. Then Morak was like, I'm losing.
Wait, really quickly before we move on, there was this really sick shot between Shin and Sabine where Sabine had dropped her lightsaber and Shin strikes at her, and Sabine, like, she jumps backwards. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. I just saw it. She jumps backwards, almost like completely parallel with the ground to miss the strike.
Oh, yeah.
And lands on her back. It was
the first tree cut that we saw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. So Morak is like, all right, I'm going to lose this. So I'm going to overpower her by putting my spinny blade on turbo mode. Like you could hear it getting faster and faster and faster. And Ahsoka, is her saber above her head at this moment? Or is it? She's just like holding this. And she's just watching time. And we find out it's about timing, what she's doing. But she's just kind of like, I'm not scared of this. Like, this is such a stupid thing. Like, why do you think that I'm intimidated by this? This is like how I just read her expression. And then from a distance, you see, I like when there's like wide shots of saber fights, because then it's like you can't hide anything in cuts.
Yeah.
And so it's wide shot, far back, and you see Morak go at her, and she just goes through it and cuts him. Like her timing, the spinny blade. She just times it perfectly and cuts him through the chest. And I was shocked by that. But then the big shocker was
Fart cloud.
He was Puff the Magic Inquisitor. Like, what the heck has happened? All the green magic comes up. So the question is, one, was it a reanimated body, or was it just magic, the straight magic, and there's no body?
I don't know if we're ever gonna know.
I think it was just magic.
But there's the meme. I posted it last week in the Discord or whatever. But like, it's just of Dave Filoni holding a thing, like a board, and it's like, your Morlock theory sucks.
LOL.
Like it's, and I'm like, I feel like this whole Morlock thing.
Oh, I know
was
why.
A total troll of the fans. Like, they're gonna, who is this guy? They're gonna be thousands and thousands of videos on YouTube with their predictions, and Dave Filoni is like, no, it's just a puff of magic.
I know exactly why Shin runs away.
Okay.
Because chronologically, her and Sabine are still fighting. That moment with the wrist rockets doesn't happen until after Sabine says, go, run. So Shin is like, I've got to get to Ahsoka before she gets to the temple.
Well, because they see that.
Who says go run?
So they see Ahsoka hit Morok, and he puffs, and and her and Sabine are both like, what? Yeah. And then Sabine should have just tried to strike her then and there, but they both stay still. And then Sabine's like, go get the map. And you can see on Shin's face, Shin's like, because she like looks at Sabine and she's like, no, you know. And then the second Shin gets an opportunity to leave, when she realizes Sabine really isn't a threat anymore, she leaves to try to run after Ahsoka.
I mean, I remember that now.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great how I feel like Dave trolled the fans.
Yeah.
Just for fun. And we'll probably never know. If I ever meet him, I want to ask him, did you do that just to mess with the fandom for months and months?
Dude, because there's videos that it was, what's his name from
Star Killer. It was, people were thinking, I still don't understand why people think it was, still going into this episode, people thought it was Barriss. Like, that was like the most ridiculous. I'd be less surprised if it was Darth Jar Jar than if it was Barriss.
Oh, God.
That'd been dope.
No,
but it was like, and people even thought it was, what's his name from Jedi Fallen Order too?
Cal Kestis.
People thought it was Cal Kestis.
Dude, that would have come out of left field, and people would have been like, what the heck is going on?
I haven't played the second game yet, so I don't know if it's plausible or...
I haven't played either, so...
But there's that. So at this time, the whole Sabine Shin stuff is happening, like the tail end of that. Ahsoka's at the temple, and I
love how they very, very craftily set up the stakes of this whole thing, because they keep cutting back to shots of the coordinates being fulfilled like a clock.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this very much feels like a video game boss fight mechanic. Like it's a way to portray the urgency without someone going 5 minutes left. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was like, oh, we're only at 6 o'clock right now. We still have to get to 12.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, let's get some better Wi-Fi or something, because this is going slow. Like, plug that Ethernet cord in to make it go faster.
Oh, it's old magic.
No, they were using computers.
No, I'm saying like, well, that's true.
Which, by the way, they had to have been stupidly advanced navigational computers too.
Just not fast.
To take,
They just weren't fast.
Yeah. But they were impressive nonetheless.
Yeah. So, Ahsoka arrives at the temple and is looking for if anyone's there, and Balin's just sitting. And he's like, Anakin spoke highly of you. And she's like, funny, he never mentioned you. Like, who are you? Type of thing. I thought it was a great comeback that she had for that little.
But then his response is really good.
Which, something was a little off in the chronology of what he said. Because he talks about how he turned into Vader. And he's like, is that why you left him? But she left before he was Vader.
Yeah, but he doesn't know. Okay, so this is someone who is talking from an outside perspective, who has the big idea of what happened, but doesn't know the details.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows she left. He knows he's Vader, but he doesn't know the timeline because like he wasn't there.
I feel like Ahsoka's trial was so well known to the Jedi of what happened.
I don't know though if he was off fighting the war,
or if he already. Well, no, because he left during Order 60. Well, we don't know when he left.
I'm pretty sure he was fighting in the Clone Wars and survived Order 66.
Right, because he would have been, I'm guessing, around Anakin's age.
There is no way with Dave at the helm of this that mistake would have been made.
Right, so that's why I was confused. Like, what was?
Well, the biggest mistake is that no one should know that Anakin is Darth Vader, and apparently everyone in the galaxy knows that.
Well, I think post the war, everyone knew.
Yeah.
Oh, true. That's fair.
Because is Micaiah's favorite book about Leia? Is that a canon one or is that an easy one?
Bloodlines? Yeah.
Is it in there? Like,
people find out that
Leia was Vader's kid, and so all that information is
true
on the interwebs, on the holonet.
They doxed Vader hard.
So I don't know. I when I heard that, I was just a little confused. Like, is Baylan not know all the details, or how does he? So I just thought it was a little confusing. But yes, he was taking jabs at like.
It was such a masterful, like, in that moment they were like kind of verbally sparring. He's like, Anakin spoke highly of you. That's the first jab, like bringing up your old master, and she's like, funny. He didn't mention you. Boom. There's my blow. And then he's like, everyone knew Anakin, but very few would see what he would become. And like, boom. Yeah. The dialogue is so good. Right. It's so good. Baylan is the best.
But the view did make a good point.
Huh?
In the chat. That it also seems like his force sensitive is like he can read thoughts.
Yeah, he's very good at that. And I think his information on Sabine when he's talking about, you think
he got that all from her in the moment.
Yeah, that's what I was. He's always really good at that. So I think the view twist is correct on that. So, and then Ahsoka is just like, I'm not here to discuss about my past, and so this is where they classic walk in a circle, looking at each other, and are reading each other. Probably reading each other in the Force, trying to come up with their feelings and thoughts and all that jazz. And
he's such a good actor.
And they're just changing stances over and over again. And it was super intense. Like, the music was going, and I was like, I was like, who's gonna make the first move? And it was Ahsoka. She made the first move. Which
it was really interesting because there's a moment. Oh yeah. So this is another one. She was like, I'm not here to discuss my past, and he's like, I'm here to secure my future. And Ahsoka goes, ambitious, and he goes, his response, she says ambitious, and he says necessary. And he's so freaking good at that.
Yeah.
Just like turning things around like that. And then there's a moment where he's like, what is he's like, it's the same thing as like a pity or something. She ignites her lightsaber. Oh no, she pulls her lightsaber out, and he's like, how inevitable. It's so good.
We got Thanos over here.
I love it.
So this whole scene was great, just to build up to them fighting, and then the fighting itself was really great.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. So, the California saber thing.
Okay, before we get there, we got to stop.
Okay, what do we miss?
I thought it was very interesting how this was more so, I feel like in the prequels and even in the sequels, definitely in the original trilogy, because there wasn't really established lightsaber forms. But like, I feel like even through Clone Wars and stuff, it was just kind of like, you could see slight differences when someone was more aggressive, but it was really just like spinny sabers and stuff. This was one of the first times where I feel like we've gotten a really, really valid, like, just stark look at two very distinctly different lightsaber styles and how each one of them combats the other, right? So like Ahsoka is super like very samurai kenjutsu. Like everything that the stances that she has at the beginning of this fight are like straight some of the basic forms in kenjutsu, like easily. And then Balin is like super European, like almost like a longsword type deal. And even in the way that throughout the entire fight, it's just mind-blowingly cool to see how they, instead of it becoming like this flurry of sabers and just kind of doing the fight because it needs to be done, throughout the entire thing, they very distinctly keep their styles very clearly defined. Like Balin is more rigid, but he's way more powerful. And Ahsoka has to counteract that. And it's like this is one of the first lightsaber fights that like you see that story. You see the story with another added layer of depth play out in real time while you're watching the fight. It's one of my favorite lightsaber duels ever.
Which is more meaningful to you because you know these details.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, like obviously I knew they were doing. There were like the one where she has her saber down, pointing down behind her. Like I recognize that as like a Japanese thing.
That's
like,
hands down a kenjutsu.
Like I've seen that before. So like I knew she was doing something like that. I knew he was doing. I just don't know how to interpret it. So
this is very easily like one of my favorite lightsaber duels by a landslide. And the reason is like my other one obviously is the Kenobi Maul one from Rebels,
right?
Because it shows that same level of skill and depth. Like these are in this. Like I just saw a clip of the fight between Anakin and Dooku from Attack of the Clones. It's impressive. It's fast, but it's just like they're spinning and it's a good trick, but they're doing, it's just ba 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 ba, and it's just like this one kind of flurry. But this is like two really well-established swordspeople, and they know what they do. They know how to do it super well, and then you see them take that and adapt it to fight to overcome the challenges that the other ones bring. Like it's just, it's poetic. It rhymes. It's a George Lucas quote,
right?
But anyways, I could geek out over this fight for a very long time, but it's easily top 3 lightsaber duels for me.
And there's at least one. I think there's a couple like swords experts on YouTube that like break down like sword fighting in movies, and they'll do lightsaber duel breakdowns. It'd be cool to see them break down this fight.
The videos are coming.
Yeah,
100%. If they're not already out, they're.
Well, it's gonna take time for them, and it's only been out 24 hours. But that'd be cool to see what they have to say.
But anyway. Really, I will say that the thing with Marek was very, because the thing that people don't understand about samurai fighting styles is like the duels weren't prolonged. It wasn't this like anime like ba 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 separate ba ba. It was like you might have 3 or 4 swings, and one of the people's dead. Yeah.
Just like the Maul Obi-Wan fight.
Right. And so that was
hits, and that was it.
Yeah. So even that, you can very clearly see like the Japanese influences in Ahsoka style, and it's so cool.
Yep.
See, everyone, I didn't hate it. Anyways,
so the California saber thing. So there's a moment where
let me see this.
Did you look it up at all yet?
I'm literally watching it on Disney Plus on my phone. So
it's gonna be, you're not gonna notice unless you have the audio, I don't think. But there's a scene where they're locked, and then he pushes back, and
they're locked.
I don't know what.
Is this before?
Well, no. Like
when the blades are just touching each other, and they're just
they're locked up. Yeah.
So and then he pushes, like a quick push, like he kind of punches with his lightsaber like forward, and it gets louder, and it looks like his blade gets wider. It's like he turned up the heat on his thing.
This fight is so freaking good.
Like the blade gets bigger, like it's more like he has a connection with his.
Oh, that spin move that he does.
Mm-hmm. Are you listening to anything?
Yes. Just getting to the part that you're talking about,
and it looks like the blade gets bigger / wider, like it more like strong, like something with his connection to the kyber crystal makes the blade stronger or bigger or something. and that's when like he's fighting better, I think. So like something happens where the saber gets bigger. It looks like
I'm looking,
and it's hard to miss. Like when I first saw it, like it was like a weird sound. Like the saber got louder. Like he activated a second time or something. Like I don't know. So
this is before she grabs the map or after?
This is towards the beginning. Like
oh shoot, I definitely missed.
It's like in those first like where when he says something like you're sloppy like your master or something like that, around that part.
I'm trying to watch it too,
and I guess if you don't have the audio, you might not be able to, because the sound. I remember the sound was very like the blade, like it ignited a second time and got a little bit wider of a blade. It's kind of hard to know. I might be
interesting. It might. I'm watching it now, and I'm trying to see.
So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. If it's a thing, maybe I'm just misreading it. I don't know.
Maybe it's your TV. It looks bigger on your.
Yeah, you gotta watch it in 4K to notice it. But
how big is your TV?
It's only 55.
Oh, is it really?
Kind of small, but it's fancy. So I like that. I think that'd be a cool thing to introduce to like.
Yeah. See, it doesn't get bigger for me at all.
Like wider a little bit or louder. Something is different. I feel like he did something to his saber / blade where it made himself in his connection with the saber stronger or something. I don't know. Yeah, maybe have to do it later when you're
reading into it.
Like I said, yeah. But
Drew.
Gackman 820 says kind of like the 9th Jedi episode of Visions, where like you can like connect with the blade, and the more you're connected, the more stronger the blade is.
So wait. So you talking about when they lock and then he pushes back?
Yeah.
I think that is the motion blur from the lightsaber.
Yeah. After I just watched it too, Jeremiah.
Maybe.
I mean, it might be thicker. It might be
your TV.
Yeah, it might be your fancy schmancy.
Hey, mine's a year old now. It's out of.
You're one of those guys, huh? I didn't know Jeremiah was one of those guys.
No, that doesn't mean I'm gonna upgrade. I'm gonna have. Hopefully, I'll have this TV for 15 years, like I had
your last one.
Well, actually, it was only like 12 years or something. But
hey, that's
anywho, so I don't know. We'll never know. Maybe I'm just reading into this whole saber thing. It just seems like after he did that, he was more like he was stronger in his pushback, because I felt like he was.
Maybe he was just pulling on the force more.
Maybe because like I felt like he was at least a little bit, not like overwhelmed by her, but like surprised at how well she was fending off, and she's like, "All right, I gotta turn the California saber on to get this done." And it seemed like he was doing better after that. I don't know. Like I said, I might be reading into it, but we'll see. So then the rest of the fight continues, and it's Ahsoka just trying to get closer and closer to the map.
We got to talk about the jump. We got to talk about
cartwheel.
The freaking cartwheel, when she cartwheels out of the way of his slash.
So beautiful.
He throws the rock, right?
Which was pretty cool when
when she cuts it in half. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So she starts going towards the map. He throws the rock. She cuts it. They're fighting a little bit. She's trying to get through, and then he swings, and she freaking cartwheels out of the way. So cool.
So beautiful.
Which I think she does a lot. Like she did that with the mall fight on Mandalore. Yeah. She does like all those multiple.
Well, yeah, but to see a live action though,
I get it. I'm just saying.
And then he just
it's a classic.
He just yeets her.
It's a classic Ahsoka thing to do those flips out of the way and cartwheels out of the way.
It is interesting that the Shin and Sabine fight is still going during this point.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why we separated them, just because trying to navigate going back and forth would be lame. So yeah, and so then how does she? I'm trying to remember, how does she kicks Balin down, like drop kicks him or something, and he falls down.
Right, hold on. So she does that. Okay, so she does. He slashes. She blocks his saber. Has to put her leg up. She does the leg thingy on the pillar, and then she like triple kicks him. So it's like they're
She'll have 2
talking
legs.
and they're locked up. She pushes back, kicks one, kicks twice, kicks 3 times. The third kick was a jump kick.
Like a side kick.
Yeah, like a jump side kick. And then that's when she gets up there and she grabs it and her hand gets crispy.
Which I don't understand why she just didn't cut
Just
it.
freaking use her lightsaber. Just
because she wanted it to get to Ezra first. Like she doesn't.
Good.
She had an opportunity to use it for herself. They can get away.
There you are, Jeremiah.
Yeah, but how would she do that without the hyperspace ring and the coordinates?
She'll figure it out. She's a Jedi.
Kill them all. She'll kill Balin, then she'll go and capture the witch again. She's done it before, and then she takes her ship and she goes over there. She uploads it herself because she's not biased, and then she
just go hang out with Luke. But hey, can you figure this out for me?
Here's the thing, though. She was just like,
yeah. Wait. I think I know what you're saying.
Then let him say it.
I think it actually doesn't make sense because she would have just cut it, and then they wouldn't have get to Ezra, but then Thrawn wouldn't have been able to come back.
Right. I mean, the reason she didn't cut it was because we still had to have a show. But the other thing is, like, she had just been like with Sabine in the forest when they were having their mother-daughter moment. She was like, if they nobody, if they can't do it, nobody needs to do it. Like, if we can't do it, we might have to. Like, she's literally like, we might have to make the tough choice to like completely destroy this thing. And then she's like,
that moment was the tough. Yeah.
I don't think that was.
She claw machines that thing and burns her hand.
I didn't see it as a contradiction of her.
No, in the moment I was just like, dude, why did you just force it or lightsaber it or something?
Bat.
But yes.
And we saw how long. Okay, first of all, too, we see later how long it does take to get destroyed by a lightsaber.
That's true.
Anything,
but maybe
hitting
she just
it with
hits
a lightsaber, it would have just fell off. Yeah,
into the ocean. She just home runs that sucker right into the ocean. Yeah.
Come on, Jeremiah, you've hit a home run on national television.
Yeah,
not on national.
You were the baseball
Channel
star.
5 high school sports rep. It was not like anything.
Either way, you know how it is to hit.
And the wind was blowing out, so that helped me too.
They had some wind.
But yes, so she burns her hand. She drops it or whatever. I thought because it was like sparking and flaming a little bit.
Catch on fire.
I thought like the ground was gonna catch on fire or something. I'm like, this is gonna be way cool, but that didn't happen. So then that's when Balin is this super angry, and he's like, that was a bad decision or bad whatever, and he just starts
messed up Ron.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, Shin shows up.
And so, but he's like, just angry
like,
because
get the map.
Wow. So before Shin shows up, Balin is just overpowering her because she can't use 2 hands to hold her saber because one's burned.
Yeah.
Which, like we've talked about so far in the show, that in Star Wars injuries don't matter because they get healed by next episode. So
yeah, or maybe going to an ethereal plane.
And if you also fall off of anything, you're always alive.
Yeah.
Yes. And so she's getting pushed back, and then that's when Shin arrives, and she sees Shin, and she thinks Sabine is dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny? Is that...
No, what's funny is her getting yeeted into the rock, just like a rag doll. Yeah,
let us...
Anyways.
So then...
She got stabbed first.
In that moment, Ahsoka gets angry and taps into the dark side, in my opinion, when she lifts up Shin.
Ooh.
And then throws her into the rock. Like, that is not a Jedi thing. That is not a light side thing. You don't murder someone in that moment like that.
No, she didn't murder her. She just...
she tried to...
She yeeted her. There's a difference
head
between
first into a rock. Like,
it wasn't head first.
Yes, it was. Her head hit the rock. It was...
Hold on.
She got concussed really bad, dude. She gets...
it was more her neck and the base.
Yeah, no injury there because what...
She would just be paralyzed.
You sleep on your neck wrong at night, and you're like in pain for days. Like,
yeah, the second you freaking pass.
That was definitely like.
Now me, I can't sleep at night no matter what because of my back pain, so that doesn't matter. I don't have that problem.
Dang, dude, that's sad. But
that was definitely like the back of the head.
No, it was yeah.
I've watched enough UFC.
The back of her head is ridiculous.
Okay, that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a super. Okay.
I don't know why. I need to fix it.
So then Balin is like pushing her back again, Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka tries to use the Force to push the blade back.
She does. She at least holds her own.
Right. But then Sabine shows up.
Oh my gosh!
What?
Here we go. Sabine shows up. She should have just shot. She should just.
Okay. So I don't understand why you guys think she should have just easily made a decision to blow it up in the moment. Like, I just don't think
No. It shouldn't have been okay.
But that's what it seems like you're saying.
She should have struggled a little bit and then still shot it.
So okay,
do it.
So Ahsoka sees that she's alive, and Sabine's like, "All right, has it got to thing?" She's like, "Destroy it." Sabine, and then Ahsoka gets yeeted off the thing. All right, so now we're at the scene with.
Wait, whoa, slow down. I was gonna say with that though, when she saw Sabine, it seemed like she did have some remorse of what she did to
Oh, I didn't.
Padawan in her eyeballs. Like she
in
was
her
like
eyeballs.
like she was like, oh, happy to see Sabine, but then also kind of like maybe she did tap into the dark side a little bit.
I don't know. I didn't really. I think it was just a moment of relief. Like that's what her facial expression was.
Seemed
but
a little,
but Ahsoka gets yeeted off, and this is the dialogue then between Sabine and Balin. Balin trying to get her to not destroy it, obviously. And he seems to be reading her mind to know about Ezra and her love for Ezra as last family member, basically. And in the scene, this is where Balin says, you know, your entire family died on Mandalore because your master didn't trust you or something like that. And so that is probably the division that split them. Whatever that is, I'm guessing we'll find out.
I hope so.
But this scene was a very long scene, and I really liked it because for me, I know you guys already stated that because of the scene, like she had to give it up because that's just how the show was written in you guys' opinion. At this point, I was like, it could go either way. Because I'm like, okay, she has the whales. Like, that's one way. Like, there's still another hope of finding Ezra through the whales somehow. Maybe she'll look up and see the whales, and she's like, that's the music. Like, so at this, I was still going either way. Like, it could go either way. So,
must be
after a certain point, though, like you knew what was going to happen.
I knew right away.
I didn't.
But like think about her options. Okay, think about Balin. Yes, he powers his lightsaber down. He puts it on his belt, and he's talking. He's doing the verbal like mind game thing, but he's walking closer to her. And like, first of all, if she shoots it point blank, she runs the risk of losing a hand. So that's your first physical obstacle. The second physical obstacle is that if she did go to shoot it, Balin would sense her intention and just force pull it away from her. Balin's too skilled, and he's got the precognition thing. And then assuming she can destroy it, she's dead anyways. So it's like the longer that scene went on, I was like, she's giving it up. I mean, she doesn't have any other options.
Yeah.
Unless they did something really dumb and she turns into like the most powerful Jedi, her Force awakens and she's like,
well, I thought
she turns into the Avatar state.
I was still
that'd be cool.
Also thinking that maybe Ahsoka was going to come back up.
Oh no!
Because no, listen, because she gets yeeted off that cliff just like Vader yeeted her off the temple in Twilight of the Apprentice, and she worked her way up and then saved the thing. Because in that same scene, there's the holocron.
Yeah. If anything, I actually didn't expect Ahsoka to be back. If anything, I thought the X-Wings were going to show up and and then they would get it. They would have a chance to split up. So
I thought Ahsoka was going to jump up to parallel the Rebels season 2 finale.
Yeah.
because I thought what could happen, but so she ends up giving the map to Balin because he promises, "I won't harm you," and something about like you'll be reunited with Ezra. Like
you'll see your friend.
Like, do you believe him in his promise?
Yeah.
So there's that.
I believe his promise. But he didn't specify alive or dead.
I trust him more than I trust Morgan.
Oh yeah, hands down.
And like this scene was meant to make you think that he already betrayed her, because right after this, his Padawan wakes up somehow from a concussion.
Yo, dude,
and chokes Sabine, but you think it could be him because you don't see her.
Right. Oh, I thought it was like some magic thing, like if she was touching the.
No, I actually thought he betrayed her. I literally was like, wait, Balin.
He already betrayed her like instantly. That's what I thought. And then I thought that the X-Wings were gonna come and shoot, and then she would have been able to escape. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, he's already betraying her. Like that was quick. But then he told her, his Padawan, stop doing that. Like, I gave her my word. To me, that shows that he just wants to be powerful, but he is doing it in a way where he thinks is right.
Yeah.
And
he still has a code of honor.
Yeah. And we knew he did too, because he had remorse and he didn't want to kill Ahsoka.
Yeah.
From the other episode. And I think even in this moment, he felt like that was his only choice. Was he had to kill Ahsoka, even though he didn't want to. So I think if anything, he's gonna betray Morgan.
So the one thing that we kind of glossed over when Ahsoka and Balin were talking before they fought was that Ahsoka was like, "You're gonna start another war." It was like, "I'm not gonna start another war.
Yeah.
Thrawn is."
Yeah.
And he's kind of said something like, "This war is gonna bring something good," and so like,
you have to destroy.
So
to rebuild, essentially.
So again, like he has his own motives apart from Morgan, and we don't know what that is.
Which is why I think he'll betray Morgan.
So, but okay, so at the beginning of the episode, I made the comment that something along the lines of, I don't think Sabine made a decision to give him the map because, so in the Disney era of live action Force use, they've added sound to the Force being used.
Yeah.
And right when Sabine, and you see it in this episode too, like multiple times when he's using the Force, like it's like that weird, like swooshing, like rumble kind of type of thing.
Yeah.
Right when she gives him the map, you hear that sound turn off in a sense. I think he Jedi mind tricked her. I don't think she chose to give him the map because that sound ended right when she gave the map. So the Force was being used in that moment because.
Do you think it was just him reading her?
It could be because he was doing that. We acknowledge that, but part of me wants to say that he was Jedi mind tricking her, like a high level one where it's not just he told her what to do, he planted thoughts in her so that she made a choice.
Curse.
What?
The Imperious Curse.
Do I know what that is?
From Harry Potter. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Y'all know.
I've only seen the movies once. I don't remember all the details.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's possible, Jeremiah. I just think she made that choice by not shooting it when Ahsoka told her to. I think that choice was already made for her.
There's a part of me that like really wants to believe. Maybe it's because of the presence of Thrawn, but there's a part of me that really wants to believe that like Sabine's playing the long game, and it wasn't just a selfish move. But we'll find out.
Well, in 4 episodes. If Jeremiah is right, if it wasn't her choice.
Yeah.
But she's standing there with handcuffs, just not fighting and walking on the ship.
So I feel like at that point she realizes her position is more valuable if she stays quiet for the time being to see how it unfolds.
Yeah. So That's that.
Yeah.
So he puts the ball back on the thing, and literally, instantly, all right, we got it's all uploaded. Like it was literally 99.99999%.
If you look when it got knocked off, it had 4 clicks still before it got knocked off.
Well, that happens when you're downloading. Sometimes it's like taking forever, and those last 5% like go really quick, like instantly. So
it's convenient.
Yeah. So that happens. Morgan's like, all right, Balin, come back up here. And he's all right. And he destroys the map. And he's like, no one's going to be following us.
You skipped a scene. The Hera and the X-Wing show up before then.
I was going to keep that scene so we're not going back and forth. Yep. So that's happening. He destroys it. And he's like, no one's going to follow us. And when that happened, I was like, it seems like that her blaster wasn't going to destroy the map.
Yeah.
So it's like either way, even if she pulled the trigger, it wouldn't have done anything. So if anything, it would have ricocheted off.
We would have seen her intent to try, and that means something.
That would have meant a lot.
I guess.
If she would have listened to Ahsoka and it didn't work, it would have been. At least we knew where her alliances lie. And not just Ezra. Because you twist said, "No, she's not being selfish. She wants to save Ezra."
Nah, that's being a little selfish.
But that's selfish in the sense that Thrawn is able to come back too.
She's picking a single person over the fate of the galaxy.
I think most people would make the same decision she did.
Maybe.
I
don't disagree.
I think for both of you, the person you love most in this world, you choose the person you love most in this world.
I also know the person that I love the most.
I was going to say, the person that I love the most in this world would not want me to choose that.
I don't know.
It gets complicated really fast.
I know.
But Sabine knows that because Sabine in the finale of Rebels had to make a choice to give up Ezra.
That's what I mean.
To save everybody. So she already knows it and she's already done it, but now she's doing the opposite.
Which is why I think she's doing the opposite, because she hasn't got anything positive out of this situation. Because of what you said earlier, Jeremiah, is that her master literally wouldn't let her save her own people. With that line, therefore, we know that she is there. She has nothing left to lose anymore because she's already lost literally everything. Her entire family, her planet, her master at some point, and now her master is coming back conveniently, and she's able to potentially go see the one person left. She's going to make that choice. It might be selfish, but it is understandable.
I don't know.
Doesn't make it any less selfish.
I don't think sacrificing yourself for someone else is selfish.
When the person, only in this situation, because that person's already sacrificed himself for her and the entire galaxy.
I don't know.
It's not selfish, but it's not entirely. It's like good. It's like being selfless for the greater good, or being selfless for a single person. And when it's on the scale of the galaxy, it's like, yeah, it's still being selfless. But like, is it the right choice?
Well, it all works out. We already know because the sequel trilogy exists. It all works out in the end anyway. So
it must, yeah.
So, but
still makes
so while all this is happening, blah blah blah, Hera and the X-Wings arrive, and or I should say, Hu Yang is trying to reach help, and finally, when they arrive, like are about to exit hyperspace, they are able to communicate with him. He's like, "We're on the planet," blah blah blah. He's like, "All right, we're here." And so they come out, and he's like, "There's a hyperspace ring, blah blah blah, at whatever coordinates," and they find it. And at this point, the ring is going up. And I thought that scene of it coming out of the clouds, it was so good.
It's beautiful. I've got it up on my phone right now.
It kind of reminded me of that in the finale of Mando when
Oh, it's so
the Imperials remnants are going through the clouds down, and then or the Mandalorians are going down, and then the Imperials are going up through the clouds. I think that was just
I literally paused on that scene when we were watching it, and I was like, this is so freaking beautiful. This is, oh my gosh. This scene and then the one of her from episode 1 at the temple, those are the two for me that just they're gorgeous.
Cool. So
the cloud sims on this thing are boy. Someone better get a raise for that shot, or a full team of people, really.
Well,
but
they're on strikes.
Yeah, that's what the strikes are for right now.
True.
Well,
not the VFX artist.
It will be shortly enough.
Yeah, they're already. Anyways, yes, continue.
So, Hu Yang says that the hyperspace ring is coming from whatever coordinates. Sabine or Hera finds them. All right, it's there. I see it. And they
with the subtitles on, with the X-wings and stuff coming in, it just says fast whooshing.
Yeah, there's some funny.
But do that
scene
things when they're in the cockpit of the X-wings and you can see them slowly come up behind them.
Oh,
it's so cool too.
I'm watching that right now.
So they're analyzing it. They're looking at it. At this point, I thought, okay, last episode they introduced the turbo blaster things, so they're gonna get shot at by the turbo things, and that didn't happen.
The turbo lasers.
Yeah. But they're not sending any fighters out. Like, oh no, they're trying to get out of here. I'm like, for a minute, like, okay, they're just in the middle of the circle. They're gonna go and they're gonna be perfectly fine. Like,
yeah, me too.
No one's gonna get hurt. It's all gonna be happy. And they're like, okay, power surge is happening. Well, they're getting ready to jump. And this sequence inside, when they're like this is like crazy technology. Like we don't.
Yeah.
This is like, what is this? Is this like
Sabine's looking around like, what is this? Like,
yeah,
it's not a normal thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is going on? This is intense. How is this gonna play out? And they activate it, and the normal like star lines that you see, like you briefly see like
it starts like that.
It starts like that, but then you see very quickly a bunch of colors, random colors. So have either of you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
So no, and I keep wanting to, and Micaiah won't watch it with me because she saw it once and thought it was super boring. But I really want to watch it. Are you talking about the colors?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think you also see that in Spaceballs. They make fun of that, where there's like it's kind of like their version of hyperspace, and it's like all these crazy colors.
There's a brief moment of that.
So that right when I saw that, it kind of reminded me of 2001: A Space Odyssey. DP twist. It went plaid from Spaceballs. But like they hit it, and it just, I don't even know how to describe what it is. It's just like blue streaks, and like it leaves a trail, and it's
interesting because it's like they didn't collide with the hyperspace ring. What wrecked them was the leftover momentum, the trail,
space drag, or
something.
Space
drag. Like that's what it was, which is fascinating to me.
And so like all these ships get electrocuted, and they just start crashing into each other because they just get yeeted all over the place. And of course, Carson's not gonna die because he's like a main guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, a Jedi didn't get on this lat during Clone Wars, so that one's getting shot down. Type of thing. But like, and then like in the distance when it goes, like you still see the trail in the distance get weaker and weaker and weaker. Like, what is this? Like, it's obviously it's new technology, new thing we've never seen before, but like, it did not play out the way I thought it was, and I thought it was a great scene.
Oh, it was fantastic. I love the shock and the fear on Hera's face. Like her face is just like, oh crap, it's just hit the fan. She like,
well, even Jason's like, Mom,
I have a bad feeling.
Which is, he's Force sensitive confirmed right there. Like, because he stops and he looks and he thinks.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to analyze.
Yeah.
And like Hera knows that. Like
of course
he
he's
knows
force sensitive.
She knows that he's force sensitive.
He's already asked to be a Jedi once in this show.
Yeah, Hera like doesn't doubt him. He's like the force, something in the force has shifted. There's a disturbance in the force in a sense. And I thought it's a great scene.
Yeah.
That's good.
And so final scene.
This is so sad. Sorry, not the final scene. The scene right after they jump to hyperspace, and then Hu Yang. You hear him trying to raise Sabine and Ahsoka on the comms.
Oh yeah,
and I'm just like, oh, let me give you a hug, buddy. You're all alone now. Like he's trying to raise them, and there's this moment of realization where they're not there, and it's just I just wanted to give him a hug.
Yeah,
I love Hu Yang.
Yeah.
But he says Lady Tano, and then there's this wide shot. He says Ahsoka, and there's this beautiful shot of the ship, and then that's when it happens. We get to
overhead of the temple, and it goes over the ledge into so I see a body laying down there, and then like I'm looking. We see her down there, and then I felt like did I hear whales? I was like, are the space whales gonna come down? Like, there's like a sound that like it sounds
what
like
a freaking great transition too.
And I'm like, okay, how is it? Is the whales gonna pick her up like out of the water, or I don't know? I'm listening, and then like I see the white sea foam start to turn blue in tint. I'm like, what is this? And then I see Ahsoka's arm, like life size, like close up, and immediately, is this the world between worlds?
I knew what it was.
And then like you see her like move, and like the white goes out.
The second I saw that, I looked at McKay and went, "This is why Jeremiah reacted the way he did. This is exactly because he finally got the world between worlds."
Well, to be fair, when I said that, with all the Mexican, I was talking about the whole episode, not anything specific.
Oh, okay.
So, but yes, this is the biggest moment of the thing.
Jeremiah's his second favorite thing underneath the first half of A New Hope is the world between worlds. I feel like everyone asks, like, what planet would you live on? Jeremiah's like, build me an apartment or a house in the world between worlds. That's where I live.
Right. So I'm like, this is so cool. You see her so she's been here before.
Yep.
Now the first time it wasn't this detailed.
Nope.
But she's trying to figure out what happened. She's probably just as confused as the first time she entered it. And she's looking around, and it just looks great. It just looks great.
Yeah, it does. It looks so good.
Got the galaxies in the background.
Yeah.
Like part of me is like, oh, is the void that Balin mentioned before, like, is the void the world between worlds? Is this literally like the world between worlds, as in galaxies, like the world between galaxies? But I was like, what's going to happen? Like, something's going to happen. It's just not going to end. And part of me, I don't even remember if I was like, is Hayden, is Anakin showing up? Like, I don't even know if I was just like, we're here in the world between worlds.
Well, it's interesting because like I totally saw the world between worlds coming during that transition. But when she was there, so there's a few seconds she stands up, and there's a few seconds of her looking around before you hear the iconic line.
And this is what breaks my heart the most, because I recorded my reaction video, and I am talking to the camera like, is this the world between worlds? So I'm talking, and I didn't hear that whisper. I am so...
See, when that happened, you could have heard a pin drop in our apartment. Well, not really, because it's LA, but you get the idea.
I was so mad going back the second time and realizing that he whispered that, because we've literally talked about this on the podcast, when he sees her for the first time and he says, "Hey, Snips."
Yeah.
Now here he says, "Hello, Snips."
Yeah.
But I'm so mad because I've been looking forward to that moment my whole podcast time my whole life.
Your whole life, really.
And I missed it. Now, I heard when he said, I didn't think I'd see you this soon. Then that's when I immediately recognized his voice because it was a little louder.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, was that Anakin? Was that Anakin? That was Hayden Christensen. Now, it would have been cool if the Hello Snips was in Matt Lanner's voice.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would have been so quiet, you might not even tell the difference, but it would have been cool if it was that and then Hayden Christensen. And I'm starting to freak out, and she turns around, and it's Revenge of the Sith Anakin.
Yeah.
Which, in the edit of Return of the Jedi,
yep,
it's Episode 3, Hayden Christensen, which, like, it doesn't make if you watch it in release order for the first time, like, who the heck is this guy standing there next to?
Oh yeah.
Obi-Wan and Yoda.
I would say there was a split second before he speaks where she's like looking around that I thought the reveal was she's gonna be there and it's gonna like kind of center on her face and she's gonna be super confused, and then the episode was gonna end. For a second, I was like, oh, she's really confused, and then cliffhanger. But then, and obviously,
she turns around and it's Anakin. And how do you guys feel about his face reconstruction?
I didn't hate it.
It's fine.
And also, I didn't expect to see you so soon. I have so many questions. I have so many questions now about the Force, and
that's why people think that it's potentially not the world between worlds, and why it could be also where they go to when they die.
Well, it looks eerily similar to the world between worlds.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
before
we get into speculation,
that line
to answer,
and also if you to the end, he smiles at her, and then if you read the subtitles, it's very quickly it goes Vader theme music.
Yeah, I mean it plays the Vader theme.
Mm-hmm. So I thought was kind of interesting.
So,
but back to Jeremiah's question, it's obvious. It's
better than it was.
It's pretty obvious, but I don't hate it. I don't hate
it. I'm glad that they de-aged him.
Yes. Yep.
I immediately noticed that they de-aged him, which I liked.
Yes.
But like looking at it, his face, I don't know, it kind of looks like, I keep thinking of, okay, we watched Corridor Crew.
Yeah.
It kind of was on the level of the Scorpion King.
No. No.
It was like that obvious, like it was CGI.
Out. No.
It didn't look obvious to me at all.
You take
just your TV.
No. Is it obvious? Yes. Is it CG? Yes. Is it that bad? No.
I don't know, dude.
No, dude.
I'd have to go watch it again. But if that
is Scorpion King, then Luke from Mando, the first Luke from Mando, is like the stained glass Sherlock Holmes.
Better than that one, for sure.
I don't know.
Look, I'm looking at it. It's up right now. I will say
right now too.
I will say
look that bad.
It's the
I don't know.
It's the eyes. I think it's the eyes.
I think it was just the skin was just too smooth. Pale. Like there's not a lot of texture in the skin.
Hey, well, that's the lighting, because her skin is also very smooth because of it's very soft lighting.
Yeah,
it's one directional.
Now next episode,
Ghost.
Now next episode, when it's gonna be more close up, different light interaction, maybe it's gonna look a lot better. I'll probably be happy with it then. But I don't know. But either way,
yeah.
I mean, you can tell. You can definitely tell it's CG, but he looks really good.
I just don't think it's their
as good as what's his name in Rogue One.
Tarkin is way better than this.
I don't think so. I think it's
no
Tarkin. Okay, do you realize that people who have never seen Episode 4 and watched Rogue One, they don't realize that Tarkin is CGI.
Yeah.
But that's really strange because it's pretty obvious that he is.
And I don't think it is.
Oh, well,
I think
very
that
obvious.
I think that you only know that it's CGI. Therefore, when you look at it, you're looking at it as a CGI face.
I think it's the same with this situation.
If people don't know that, like people don't know that the CGI, they're not gonna.
I really think that it's just the lighting. I really think it is.
Yeah, because Tarkin's lighting was also always black.
Well, they did it in shadows.
Yeah,
but
I also think you're saying that to defend that we're looking for that. I think people are also looking for this too. Like we're looking to see if they actually CGI his face or did they pull a Kenobi and they didn't do anything. I prefer this over Kenobi.
Well, right.
Kenobi, they needed a lot more of this.
But there's a lot that could said, but either way, the scene was great.
I liked it.
So
I was freaking out.
Yeah. Micaiah just started crying.
And cried. Yeah, I cried too.
Because
I didn't cry, but
everyone, okay, the rumors were World Between Worlds. The rumor was we were going to see Hayden Christensen, but we didn't know if it was a flashback or if it was what was it was going to be. But that's what we got. So the speculation is next week.
All right. So I said this, and I think someone else said this in the Discord last night because I hopped in there, and I think so there's been this rumor that we're gonna get the Mustafar duel with Ahsoka there somehow.
Right.
I think that is going to be this next episode. I think what is going to happen is that now that it's finally the Ahsoka show, I don't think she's been in contact with Anakin. Because remember, he's Vader until the end of Return of the Jedi, which is only a number of years before this. It's not like
it's 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a super long time. I don't think she has communed with Anakin yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Since his redemption. I think this is the first time. I think this is going to be an explanation. They're going to be talking, and he's going to explain a lot of what happened. And I think through the portals, we're going to see various flashbacks of his story after she leaves him.
So it's going to be kind of like a 90s filler episode where they do like a montage of things.
But it means so much more.
I know, but it's going to be kind of like...
I mean, it has to be... One, I think it has to be long, and two, it has to be really intense.
I think what is going to happen... Yeah, well, because he's in the poster now. In the post that they made for this theater, he is in the poster now.
Yes,
and
which
so
I was hesitant. I have a different thumbnail that I'm gonna post on my reaction, but I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to spoil anything.
Thank
and then
you.
Disney put out that poster, and I was like,
yeah.
Well, you can still wait.
No, it's free game now. I'm not waiting no more. Why would I wait?
Drew and his spoilers, because
it's not a spoiler.
People who have never seen the episode are definitely gonna watch your.
Yeah, they're gonna watch it with me and react with me.
So I think that we're gonna get a bunch of really sick, really meaningful flashbacks, and then at the very end of the episode, we're gonna see Thrawn.
I don't think we're seeing Thrawn. I don't think we're gonna see Thrawn until like the last 2.
I said that too, and I hope that that's not the case.
I think we're gonna get Thrawn next episode just because they went to the other galaxy. Like they're gonna go right to where he is. So also, I don't know if you guys, this is something that passing thought that we don't really talk about, but we just keep thinking, okay, Thrawn and Ezra are on the other end. No, the entire crew of those ships, and it was more than one ship, right? Or was it just the one? I think
it's just the Chimera.
But either way, there's probably thousands of Imperial officers and soldiers,
which is why they want to bring them back. And then two, also you gotta think that ship was designed to bring the Star Destroyer back.
Yeah,
right.
And then two, you gotta also think of what other people are out there that they're gonna have to deal with too.
Yeah, maybe
like they're going into a different galaxy.
Please.
The Grisk home planet.
Like they're going to a different galaxy. They're not just floating in outer space.
Please give me the Grisks, Dave.
If they don't put the Grisks in this in any way, whether it's this series or moving forward. It's gonna be the
please
worst.
give me the movie.
Like, what if they get there and then Thrawn and the Empire is fighting the Grist?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I'm hoping that the movie is not everyone versus Thrawn. I'm hoping that they're going to set it up to that, and then Thrawn's going to convince them that there's a greater threat.
It's everyone against the Grist.
The Grisks, and then in the final battle, Thrawn gets killed. What a great way to go!
But that has to be a movie, though.
That's what I'm saying. That is the movie.
It has to be 3 movies.
Nah. But anyways, all that to say is I think that this next episode is going to be very nostalgic and very emotional.
Do you think we're only going to be in the World Between Worlds in that episode, or do you think we're going to do stuff with Hera and the hyperspace ring and all that stuff? Like,
okay, so I don't think we'll do anything with Hera until Ahsoka comes out, because Hera's purpose is to help Ahsoka get to the other end.
So my thought is that Ahsoka is going to use the World Between Worlds to enter into the other galaxy.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be pretty.
Maybe she finds Ezra that way.
Maybe.
And Deview Twist said in the chat, he has a theory that Ezra put together the Lothal temple that was on the Chimera and is manipulating the World Between Worlds, and Balin knows him somehow and wants to go to Peridia to access the portal.
So I've heard that too, that a lot of people are speculating that Balin wants that temple so that he can enter the World Between Worlds. So
that would be the power beyond
anything
that,
And some people are thinking, oh, maybe he wants to prevent the fall of the Jedi during the Clone Wars.
Man, see, this is getting good. This is I'm excited.
So
especially now that it's just Ahsoka and Anakin.
So Balin, all he really had to do is just fall off the cliff on his head, and he could have.
he could have went.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think next week, we will get flashback scenes looking through the portal holes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I also think that's how Ahsoka is getting there. I think she's just gonna.
Well, and there's a reason why they're showing this episode in theaters.
Yes,
it's gonna be, as Jeremiah would say, a banger.
That's Drew's line.
No,
you're the one that coined that.
You always say banger.
You always say that.
I say it in mockery of you because you originally.
You've said it so much in mockery that it's become your thing now.
Facts.
Is that a thing?
I didn't even know it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chat. Whose thing is a banger?
I appropriated.
Yeah.
You have taken over.
But anyway, I think next week that yes, we'll get flashbacks, but I don't think we're gonna get a lot of them. I think.
Yeah, probably not a lot.
Because I would like, as great as it would be to see all these flashbacks. I think I want more than that. I think they could just do like 1 or 2 things, maybe 3.
Why not just like go all out and give us a whole episode?
Because I don't want to see stuff I've already seen. Like,
you're a hater.
I wanted them just to move forward quickly. Like, show me pivotal moments that, like, sure.
But an entire episode of Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship building, dude.
Or the people that didn't watch Rebels or the Clone Wars.
I don't want a recap episode. That's
not a recap, but just like I whatever.
Dave Filoni is directing it. So like.
So season 7.
He's not gonna jump into it for a recap episode. Like the fact that he's the guy that last name Ramsey, the guy that built with the toys in the backyard and like that guy,
the guy that did the Boba Fett
when Grogu got taken.
He did all of the
that
Boba
episode.
Fett show.
I don't think that's
the same guy.
He didn't do every episode.
He did he directed and wrote the entire thing.
No, he didn't, because the lady who directed episode 2 of this season of Ahsoka did episode 2 of Book of Boba Fett.
That's why he was like the Dave of Book of Boba Fett, which I'm saying.
I don't think that's accurate.
He oversaw the whole thing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Chat,
help me out. I'm pretty sure that was in like the
fact check us. But Yeah, I also don't think we're only going to be there. I think they're going to be stuff with Hera. I think we're going to be on the hyperspace ring stuff. So
I think Hera is getting shipped from the whales. The whales are going to grab her and just take her.
She gets that UPS second day air.
Well, it would have to. Maybe it has to do with why Jason's there.
Oh,
because he's force sensitive. Maybe he's going to be able to connect with the Purgo.
Can they go
convenient.
back and save his dad? A world between worlds?
No, because remember, Drew. If Kanan gets saved,
everybody else dies,
and Jason ceases to exist,
and then the whole universe collapses because that's a paradox. And
you get Back to the Future all over again.
Yep,
just worse.
Great Scott. So that's the episode. Anything else before we transition to voicemail time?
I will say it was really cool to see. I sent you guys this article, but Hayden Christensen got a special. I forget the name of the spot now, but the "and so and so" spot in the credits is a special honor. It's for an actor who played a very small role, but is incredibly popular. It's like him getting his name at the end of the like really special, animated credits is a huge honor. And they honored him, even though he only had a very small part at the end of this episode, putting him there. They did it out of honor and respect for Hayden Christensen. So I thought that was cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. Still, I mean, despite all of my complaining, still a 9.5 out of 10 for me, or a 9 or whatever I said. It was very high.
9.5.
Yeah, I'll still go with that 9.5. But knowing that, my next ratings are probably going to be like 9.6. And like,
okay, you can have more than one perfect episode.
Facts.
Like everything can, if everything is perfect in every way for every episode, it can still all be.
That's true.
10s.
This is a 10 out of 10. Actually, no, it's an 11 out of 10.
Okay. We're breaking our own scale. Anyways,
are we transitioning over to voicemail time?
I hope so.
We good? All right. I
haven't heard that song in the beautiful angelic voice in a while.
Fact. It's voicemail time.
All right, cool. Well, first up,
beautiful.
We have an email question.
Heck yeah.
And I'm just bringing it up. So, Elias, who went to Empire Con, he sent us a question, and he asks, what's your favorite thing that you did while growing up?
Oh, my favorite, like one favorite thing?
Yeah, the favorite thing. In your childhood, what was the thing you did? So I would say classify it as something like you did like
many times,
not just like a one-time family trip or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's a phenomenal question. Wow.
So I'm trying to.
What is my favorite thing that I did?
I don't know. It's a hard one. I think maybe just going outside in the summer and playing with the kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think people do that anymore. At least not in the city.
Yeah, it's too dangerous.
Like,
yeah, they do. It's called online. They just play together virtually.
Yeah.
No, actually, I just don't. I think that's just a missed childhood experience where
I did a lot of that. Yeah, I had a group of neighborhood friends.
Yeah, and it was just cool because I remember so I was second from the corner, and then the house around the corner, second from the corner, our yards were together. Yeah. And so I was trying with those two kids, and then there was this other kids up the street and down the street and around the corner and all that stuff that we'd randomly do stuff.
Yeah.
It was just getting on your bikes and riding together. And
did you ever put playing cards in your spokes?
No, I wasn't that cool.
I did that.
That
was cool because the house like kitty corner to mine. It was like a family, and they adopted like 4 kids from the Philippines, and they're like my age.
Yeah,
and we always played basketball barefoot all the time together.
Dude, that'll toughen you up.
It was pretty fun. And then like siblings would fight, and then I would always beat up my little siblings, and it's like a thing.
Yeah, it's so funny looking back. Like, it's hard because like even Jeremiah, your answer is like very much based in the more important thing, which is the friendship that you had. You know what I'm saying? Like hanging out with people.
Do you talk to those kids anymore?
No.
It's funny because like, so in high school, my group of friends, my main group of friends, my closest friends are all my brother-in-laws now. Like, because of the way things worked out. So, but like I would say like just that sense of like hanging out with people and that sense of adventure and just having fun for sure was something for me, was a highlight. Yeah.
Mine would be being in a hardcore band in high school, and like going to like these rinky-dink hole in the wall venues when I was definitely not of age to be going into these places, and going there, and it was for all ages, and like
this is your Mike Taylor band.
Yeah, but I mean I was like 15, 16, and like we're going into these places where like probably it was super sketchy and probably shouldn't. And there's this one venue in Buffalo, Minnesota, which is like an hour away almost from the Twin Cities, and it was called the Vault because it used to be an old bank, and there was a vault in the basement. But in this venue, it was like one like room, like as big as my living room. Like it's not that big. Like it was pretty small, and like I remember one concert that I opened for this bigger band for today, and we had
Bro, you opened for 4 Today?
Yeah. But
wow.
There was like 300
insane, dude.
people in this like 700 square foot.
That must have been early for Today.
It was really early.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're playing in Buffalo, Minnesota. They weren't.
That's true. The thing was, like, that venue was so weird and iconic because of that. Like even like Devil Wears Prada played there. Like it was
really,
it was this hole in the wall place, but the booker was really good.
Yeah, and it must have been.
And like,
dang,
dude,
to
the point where like we fit 300 people in a 700 square foot room.
Yeah,
wall to wall. Like your sweat wasn't your sweat; it was everyone's sweat. Like, people had to walk out, and like the whole front of the building was all glass, and so like when we were that packed, you couldn't. It was this fog.
Oh, the fog. Yeah,
it was just all fogged up, and the stage wasn't that high, and so like people would just stage dive, and we did like 250 stage dives for one song. Like,
dude,
there's that many people just going and diving off these stages.
But you'd only travel like 3 feet.
Yeah, but it was so cool.
That's
and then,
wild,
but
man.
if you go in the basement where the bands were hanging out and stuff like that, there was a little tiny pole, and it had a sign on it. It says, "Don't move pole. Pole will tighten as crowd packs in. If pole's not tight, then your band sucks." So there's a suspension pole that was holding the floor in the basement, and it was super loose. But as soon as the crowd would pack in, the floor would drop that much.
Oh my dude!
And then like, yeah,
no, that is a disaster waiting to happen.
So sketchy, bro. It was the sketchiest thing ever. And then like sooner or later, the fire department came in because I think it was either Flatfoot or I want to say it was Maroon 5 played there when they were big. No, not Maroon 5. Sorry, it was Flatfoot 56, I think. But it was like another group of that many, and then the cops got called on, and the fire department went in the basement and saw that, and they shut it down like instantly. And I was there when it got shut down. It was pretty. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Just realizing that my parents let me do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm a parent, I'm like, would I let my kid do that kind of stuff?
Well, if you're gonna be a cool dad,
I was gonna say I probably would, and I would probably go there too. And yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you, Elias. So, in conclusion, build good relationships with friends.
For real. Yo, for real.
And find a way to go to sketchy. No, I'm just kidding.
Go to sketchy
No,
music venues.
Don't do that.
You know your mom now? Your mom's too cool. So
yeah. You probably go with your mom and she's cool. So
she's dope.
All right, cool. Well, next up, voicemail from someone who's in the chat.
Oh,
a newer fan.
Oh,
so from on Twitch, he is Gakman820. So
hey yo,
let's take a listen to his first ever voicemail. And I feel like he has a weird flex in this one. So let's take a listen.
Oh, okay.
Hey Empire Radio, this is Garrett, also known as Darnie Flarschnift on Discord and Gakman820 on Twitch. I'm currently in a garage on Tatooine working on my pod racer. Here, let's see how she sounds. Still sounds a bit off. I don't know. There's also this really cool extremely modified N1 Starfighter here. It's got an enhanced thrusters with an induction intake charger on top. Anyway, enough of my blabbering. My question for you is, do you ever think or would like if Star Wars made a live-action series or movie surrounding the racing scene in Star Wars? I know there's been some hints here and there. Obviously, Episode 1, Star Wars Resistance, and of course, my favorite game, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. And you could probably guess that I actually liked the Bad Batch racing episode. Anyway, let me know what you think. Right now, I got to get back to work because I can't seem to figure out why my thrust capacitor vapor ratios are so low.
That was fantastic.
That was an awesome voicemail. And
dude, thank you. Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I wonder what vehicle he used to make that sound. Some people would know just by the sound of that recording what kind of vehicle it was.
Subaru. Let me know if I'm right.
I could, when you get that deep into stuff, like I could totally tell you what style of guitar someone's using in a recording.
Right.
Am I right?
You just
Subaru?
Is it a Subaru?
No, it's a pod racer. Come
on.
What was this question about like a show about racing? There you go, Drew. Is that a thing? I don't know what that is.
Chevy.
2014 Caprice PPV Chevy. I don't. Drew, do you know what that is or no?
I do.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a V8.
Yeah, it's
LOL.
So a live action racing show or movie or something.
Yeah,
I think
I'd be down. Yeah,
I think it'd be cool,
dude. Yeah, give me the swoop races.
Involved, we should be good.
The swoop races from KOTOR. It's like drag racing.
It's like I wonder, like, what the context? Because obviously, if it's just racing, but like what else would be the surrounding plot? Would be
family.
It's just Vin Diesel. He's
the space Vin Diesel.
Hey, they're already going outer space, so you might as well just like go with the theme and do Star Wars.
He discovers a portal into the world between worlds, and he ends up fighting Thrawn. Like,
oh Dom, what is this? Staying in the world between the power of family.
He's there with Sabine. And like
Ahsoka
is like, why didn't you destroy the map? And he's there, and he's like, family.
Oh my gosh.
Just don't turn.
But to answer the question, I would totally be down if it was done well. I really enjoyed the pod racing in episode 1 a lot.
Yeah,
me too.
So,
and
it was
all
like gritty
scenes.
It was like gritty and kind of dangerous. Heck yeah,
that'd be cool. But I would want it to be in that timeline,
like episode 1 timeline.
Maybe we see when Anakin like first crashes. Like we see it in the distance, like they just say Anakin Skywalker, but we don't actually see it. And then we see Sebulba, and it's like through Sebulba's perspective of everything. Like a Sebulba coming up to be the.
I would just love something fresh.
Okay. Wow. Sorry, Pooper.
Sorry.
During the High Republic.
I am so the High Republic and
Why do you guys hate the High Republic so much?
Whoa! What do you mean? Why do you guys hate it? I don't hate the High Republic.
Okay, I don't feel like you care about the High Republic.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the first 3 books.
I wasn't high enough when.
Okay.
To continue.
What?
Is this not it? Is this no? As much detail as they're putting into the High Republic, I still feel like total Disney doesn't care.
Well, I think it's because they haven't dedicated a show to it yet. They have, but they haven't released a show dedicated to it yet. But
I'll probably care when that show comes out.
Perfect. Yeah. All right.
And I'm willing to read the book that's supposed to come after.
The ones that's already come out?
No, isn't there one that's like directly after?
Yeah. After the ones that we read? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 2 of them are already probably out. First one's been out. I think the second one comes out.
So we're just not going to get back into those books?
I want to, but you don't want to. So, like...
I just said I want to. I mean, I prefer to
once
do
the show
Lost
comes
Ark.
out, which is sometime next year, which we're never
it's not
going to get.
Strike. We're not getting shows for a long time.
They already said Skeleton Crew has been delayed because we were supposed to get that this year. And they're like, it's probably not going to happen.
No, it's...
Acolyte's probably not going to come out to 2025 now, if I had to guess. Like, sad. But
I don't even think the movies are going to come out when they're all probably going to be delayed.
Yeah.
So.
But thank you, Garrett / Gakman / I forget how to say your Discord name. But he's new to Discord, so join the Discord if you guys want to have some fun.
Yeah.
But finally, to end the night, we got a voicemail from our good and faithful mod, Will. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio. Will here. Here's a question that might create some controversy.
Oh, let's go.
On this show?
What is the best time to work? Morning, afternoon, or night shift? Now, for me personally, I have done both a closing shift and I guess now an opening? I don't know. I don't know how you describe it, but I much prefer waking up at 6 a.m., getting off at 4 because I still have time left in my day, kinda. And then I have a whole day because I have a 4-day work week. But what do you guys think?
Weird flex.
All right. Thank you, Will. Honestly, I feel like Will has asked this question in the past in a voicemail.
Well, I haven't been here for it, so it's great.
I think he has, but I can't remember. But
I've done all of them.
Me too. Superior is opening.
I can't. The worst is the third shift.
Oh, that nope,
dude.
The worst.
Literally, one summer while I was in college, I did a Saturday third and a Sunday second. So what I would do is I would wake up on a Saturday morning, work Saturday into Sunday, stay awake, and then work Sunday afternoon, 3 to 11 p.m. And I would wake up Saturday morning and wouldn't sleep until Sunday at 11 p.m.
Would you do that?
I did it for a whole summer in school.
What was the job?
Security. Bro, I worked security.
You do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care.
As long as it wasn't 24 hours in a row. So you can only do 16 hours in a row. But if you break it up, I mean, granted, I only worked 8.
Between your 2 shifts, how much time did you have off?
8 hours.
I worked Saturday 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Sunday morning, and then I had 8 hours off. And then I came back.
He could have slept, but
I could have slept.
Why didn't you?
Probably playing at church or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was a Saturday service. So it was Saturday service, work, church, work, finally crash. And when I crashed, I crashed.
But then you had 5 days off, or did you work 3 days a week?
I worked some during the week, but because our shifts were so long and because of the cap, it was probably 1 or 2. So I still had a lot of free time. I could recover.
You slept through one day though.
No, I didn't, because I didn't want to throw my sleep schedule off too bad. So Mondays, I would wake up at no later than 11 or noon, and it would suck, and then I would go back to bed on a.
Is that when you discovered Wesley Andrews coffee and tea?
No, I wasn't. I actually wasn't into coffee nearly as much then. I didn't really start brewing my own coffee until after I got married. So I'm pretty new to the game. But
my first job was security, and I did overnights Friday night, Saturday night, into Sunday morning.
Where would you work?
For Caterpillar, the machine factory.
So not I feel like you didn't have a ton of crazy stuff then.
Nothing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nothing at one
Dude,
time.
downtown Minneapolis overnight.
Oh no, you were up. That was the hard part for me, is I was sitting in a little booth in a parking lot.
Oof.
And we had to do rounds, but like we only had to do one round the whole night. So half of it was sitting there, but they didn't want us like there's only so much stuff you could watch. And back then, like, it wasn't like it is now. Like, I can't just like my phone can only do so much back then. Like, apps were just starting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like first iPhone, you could even change your background.
You're probably playing Flappy Bird all night.
I was actually.
Yo, that was it.
I was.
I remember that took the entire world by storm.
But like we couldn't have the light on because we didn't want people to know that we were in there, just in case they're coming in. So like we were sitting in a dark room with a monitor, trying to not fall asleep, and like I was downloading shows, and I was with someone, but like that was it, and it was awful, and I always felt sick, like my stomach always hurt for some reason.
Dude,
and then I would get off at 6 a.m. and then drive to Bemidji to see my ex at the time.
Oof.
That's a 4-hour drive. You guys don't know.
No,
and
dude.
I would literally don't like remember half the drive.
Yeah, I don't
be sleeping and driving, and I don't remember like half it. I don't know how I'm alive, but yeah.
Dude,
so
we did
Jesus took the wheel on that one.
We did some crazy stuff during our thirds. Like you remember?
You probably had some fun.
Dude, we had so much fun. We did some stupid stuff, but we had a lot of fun. So you remember? You know how admissions used to be across the hallway from security, or it is across the hallway from security?
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter now that I don't work there.
You're like,
but
I don't want to say something.
we would unlock, because they had a really nice couch in there in the front office, and we would go in there during our breaks and sleep during our breaks. Which at face value isn't bad, but then you realize you're on camera going into a darkened office where people have belongings, disappearing for 30 minutes, and then coming out.
See, we couldn't even do that.
It was sketchy.
More. But either way, hindsight, I stayed up with my current wife on the phone the night before, or stayed up. So I never took my nap before I went to my shift, and I fell asleep at work and got fired.
Oof. Well, to answer Will's question, the best is morning.
Morning.
100%.
Your mind doesn't work mornings though, so I want to.
Well, I start in the morning. I don't do early morning, so I start at 10, but I'm up by 8. But like I am not a morning person.
You get to wake up at 8?
I know.
Yeah, because I don't start till 10.
Dang.
So like that's the perk of my job is I don't start till 10.
Yeah.
But then I work till 6, and I never know when I'm going to get out. And so then I don't do things in the evenings if I wanted to. Like, it's just not.
You don't have a lot of free time.
But like, even if I had free time, like, what am I going to do? I don't have any life, so I don't know what to do. So, like, honestly, like,
dang,
if I had like a 2 to 10, like 2 in the afternoon to 10 at night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like you could get stuff done in the morning. Like you could get a normal sleep. I could be in bed by 11 or midnight.
Yeah.
Like it's not a crazy time to go to bed. And so I wouldn't hate that, but like obviously that would interfere with the podcast. But
my favorite shift right now is my second job, and that's from 8:30 to 12:30 at night, sometimes 1 in the morning. But if I could just do that 4-hour shift, that'd be
I wish like Will has a 4-day work. I'd rather work.
Oh yeah, me too.
4 10-hour days.
Same. You know,
I did that when
there's a lot of evidence that is better, a lot better for people. And some countries have started adopting it, and it's worked out super well. But because of capitalism and how greedy we are here, there's been a ton of resistance to it here in the States.
It is definitely something that like they were trying to pass. They were even trying to pass a law that we couldn't work more than 32-hour work week, but we had to get paid like we were working a 40.
Heck yeah.
And they got shut down.
I just don't think I don't think it's about greed. I think it's just about like demand. Like at my work, like we have to be open 6 days a week. Like our wholesale stuff, we would not be able to meet demand if we were only open.
Just hire more people.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to
bump the price of everything.
No, because then people aren't going to buy it. Product. You can't just raise your prices if people aren't going to pay for it.
Everyone's raising their prices and everyone's making the same.
Yeah, but if you're hiring multiple more people, like that's if you say let's just say low end $30,000 a person, you know, that's $90,000 that you have to be making now that you didn't make before. And the thing is, you can only do production so fast. Like you can't just add more people and then you increase your production.
You rely on ChatGPT.
No, so it's like stuff that has to do with like
I appreciated the single chuckle, Drew. I appreciate that.
Anything that has to do with like production, like you can't reduce hours. Like that's just not a thing you can do. Like it's not.
You don't.
No business.
Just have to
you don't necessarily reduce the amount of days though. You just stagger the schedules.
Yeah.
Right, but say like our wholesale, we're USDA inspected, and you can only do production, and so from 6:30 to 2:30, they're only allowed to do certain things. If you do things out that, you have to pay for another 8 hours. And so, like,
so yeah, you just stagger the people that are working during those days during that time.
But if you need those full days and full crews, like you can't stagger them.
You could probably do it with like one extra person.
I don't think it's that simple.
It's doable.
Well, and like a lot of things will have to adjust, obviously.
Yeah.
But let's say for Paris, for instance, they can't work more than 32 hours a week. So a lot of them, they work every single day. They just get off at noon.
That is true.
Like,
a lot of places work 7 days a week, but shorter hours a day.
They're just short,
man.
Because like,
which I think is not good. But
I don't think that's good either. I'm just saying, like when we would go visit Stephanie's cousin in Paris, he gets off at like 11:30. We would get up from jet lag, and he would be already done for the whole day.
Wow.
I'm like, that's kind of dope. But then you have to work 6 days a week or whatever it is to add it up. But they literally cannot have the same person work that long in order to make sure that everyone's getting financial gain. They just have to, you're working until noon, someone's working from noon to this time.
Yeah.
And like they just split it up like that. Oh. It can be done. We can adjust. We just don't want to.
I think we're just too big of a system to make any drastic changes. Like other countries, they're much smaller. They have different base things that they've evolved from. Like a lot of Europe out of World War II, like everyone had to start from scratch after World War II, so they could create systems that from scratch then that could be tweaked. But
yeah, we just kept on becoming a monster.
Monsters.
So,
yep.
Well, we got our political debate in for today, so that's good.
There you go.
It wasn't really political, but
It can be. You want it to be. We've been gone long enough, Jeremiah.
All right. Well, thank you to our 3 people that submitted questions for voicemail time. But I think this is our new world record for longest episode. So we're over 3 hours. And it's super late. So let's go over some social media and get out of here. So in the description, there's a link, links.co/Empire Radio, links spelled with 2 I's. Click that, and it's a landing page for everything Empire Radio. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Join the Discord link. There's the link for the voicemail if you want to send a voicemail. If we've never heard from you, we'd love to hear from you. There's our fan email. Go check that out. If you ever want to send us a message about anything, go do that. And then the needlesslynerdy.com entertainment network that we're a part of. If you like anything nerdy, go check that out. There's all kinds of other podcasts and whatnot on that website. And so go check them out. Anything else, guys?
Yes. Real quick. Tune in to watch episode 5 live. Tune in an hour before it gets dropped live on twitch.tv/Empire Radio. Hang out with me. I played Fortnite with Red Buff yesterday. It was super fun, and maybe you can play with me too if you join. But with that, I do want to say that VCU Chapter 1 of the book.
Oh, Lucy's first episode for the continuation of the VCU story, which we forgot to say at the beginning of the episode that the VCU is out. But yes, Lucy released her first
and
of
it's
10 episodes.
It's a banger. So make sure you guys go check over at her podcast.
Her, and don't forget Addie. Addie, she's the other writer and voice actress. So go check that out if you haven't already. Go support Lucy because she's the best. So
sick.
Anything else, guys?
No.
Nah.
Right. Well, you've been listening to another Ahsoka-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I am Jeremiah.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.